Jaden Daniels, their starting quarterback, as expected. The second overall pick in this year's NFL draft has worked with the first team exclusively at training camp and started the first 2 preseason games. Former Dolphins coach Brian Flores called out by Miami quarterback Tua Tagovailoa on the Dan Le Batard show. Tua described Flores as a coach who told him daily he wasn't good, didn't deserve to be there. That compared to current coach Mike McDaniel, who Tua said has constantly supported him and shown his belief in him. And that, of course, has helped him flourish, according to ESPN's Damian Woody.
Mike McDaniel literally breathed life, football life into Tua, because no one questioned his talent. I mean, this dude was a top 5 pick in the draft. But he just needed that confidence, and that's what Mike McDaniel brought to the Miami Dolphins and Tua Tagovailoa.
Damian Woody on Carlin versus Joe. Falcons rookie quarterback Michael Penix Jr. will not play in Friday's preseason finale. Braves third baseman Austin Riley expected to miss 6 to 8 weeks with a fractured hand.
Hey, it's Evan Cohen. Coming up Tuesday, we continue to get you ready for football. We go 2-a-days with the Dolphins and the Rams. It's on Sportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge Studios.
Let's ride!
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. It's AFR presented by Relief Windows. I'm Matt. Hey, shut up, kid. Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Alondra Villarreal. And Mr. Toby Tom Blake. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. LSU Scrimmage, they picked up a couple. No, keep that going. They picked up a couple of commits. Saints fall to the Niners. We got week 0 action. Ton to do, but let's begin as we do every single day.
It's time to pop the top on another edition of AFR with Bud Light. Drink easy.
All right, y'all. Final week of LSU fall camp opens today, Monday, but the Tigers punctuated a long 6-day stretch of 6 consecutive days of practice on Saturday with a more than 2-hour workout, 45 minutes indoors, followed by about an hour and a half outdoors, and the media was invited to watch all of that. We did get to see a 7-on-7 period and 2 full pad 11-on-11 periods. One of those 11-on-11 periods was a full tackle. The other was a thud. So I'll go through my notes from Saturday and sort of what I saw, and I'll run through the 11-on-11 periods and all that sort of stuff as well and sort of empty the notebook. I don't want to bury the lead because I'm sure most everybody's just curious with what happened in the scrimmage portion, the 11-on-11, so I'll get to that. The first period we saw, despite them being in full pads, was a thud. It was not a tackle to the ground. And they were, it was the first period that we saw out there. It was interesting. And they offense started at the 30, their own 30, so 70 yards of field. And very quickly, boom, boom, they convert a couple of first downs, and they move in 4 plays to the 31-yard line, the plus 31. And then the defense did what the defense has done so often in this fall camp when they've come into team periods. They brought pressure. It was a safety blitz from Kylan Jackson. Oh, remember we talked a lot last week, Brian Kelly, the moving day this week. Oh, we're going to get into that in a second. Kylan Jackson comes on a safety blitz, forces Garrett Nussmeier to backpedal. He's trying to throw a ball away down the right sideline, doesn't get it all the way out of bounds, and P.J. Woodland picked him off. Yes, Kylan Jackson and P.J. Woodland in that series with the ones. There was a lot of change in the secondary on Saturday. So we also saw Javen Toviano with the ones come on. And by the way, he was at the star position replacing Major Burns. So he came on a safety blitz and forced an incompletion. So one of the things Brian Kelly said afterwards, that they were going to have to manufacture their pressure because they don't feel like they're really going to have that opportunity to win a one-on-one matchup consistently. Like, you don't have Arden Key, you don't have Sam Montgomery and Barkevius Mingo that are just going to go consistently win one-on-one. So you have to get creative with the way you bring pressure, and we've seen that pretty consistently. The second 11-on-11 period we saw was the last period of the day, and this was full contact, tackle to the ground, sequence, yardage, timeouts, all that stuff. And but they ran it situationally. So it was, and Brian Kelly talked about it after he said we were trying to put Nussmeier in situations. Did you have that Nussmeier cut, please? This was Brian Kelly about Garrett Nussmeier after the scrimmage on Saturday.
Yeah, I thought he did some pretty good things. I mean, there were a couple of things in pressures that, he thinks he's got 52 timeouts. He takes timeouts when he wants to take a timeout.
Pause it, please. Okay, so they go to this 11-on-11 period. They're starting at the 10-yard line. So this is a goal-to-go situation, right? Forgive me, they were at the 4. They were inside the 10, so they start at the 4. It was first and goal from the 4. And before they snapped the play, Garrett Nussmeier burned a timeout. So that's what Kelly's talking about there. It's like, look, you saw a pressure look. You got to go run the play. So that's what he's talking about. Pick it up there, please.
Worked through a couple of things out there where, decision-making relative to some pressure looks that I want him to get better at. But I thought his process was really good today. He stayed within himself. He looked under control in the situations that we created for him today. And I think when he does that and his drop is in rhythm, he's really good. So I thought we saw a good version of him. I think there's a better version of him out there.
Okay, so the situations we created, you heard him say that. So you put it first and goal at the 4, burns a timeout before they even run a play. On first down, they ran a really cool play where Xavion Thomas, it was essentially a counter. So all the motions going right, they were on a throwback to the left to Xavion Thomas. It was well covered by the defense. Nuss threw it high. It was incomplete. On second down, they run the ball, and West Weeks comes up with a big run stuff. Do y'all remember? I believe it was before fall camp on OTB when Blake Baker was a guest, and they were asking him about Perkins, and Blake Baker said, nobody's talking about West Weeks, but he's going to play a lot for us, and we see it as 4 starters at linebacker. Well, right there, in a goal-to-go situation, the 2 linebackers on the field were Harold Perkins and West Weeks. So that's not lip service. Like, they're putting him out there, and Weeks comes up with a big run stuff. So now it's 3rd and goal after 2 big stops by the defense, and on 3rd and goal, this is a beautiful play design, beautiful play by execution by the offense. Mason Taylor was lined up, so they were in 12 personnel, so 2 tight ends, 1 back, 2 tight ends. And your 2 tight ends were Mason Taylor and Kamorian Pimpton. And they ran Mason Taylor as a lead blocker. And it sucked the defense in. Nuss pulled it, rolled right. Pimpton emptied out of the right side, right in front of the pylon, and just walk-in touchdown right there. It was a beautiful play design, great execution. It's one of those things where you can see how they're going to be able to get very creative with the personnel they have. So a new set of downs, the first play of the next set of downs from the 4-yard line, Caleb Jackson, boom. Even got met at the line, powered his way into the end zone. It was an awesome run, and you could see just the oozing potential and power that Caleb Jackson has. The 2s went out there. The second defense actually sacked Ricky Collins for a safety. That was a really encouraging play. Some of the notes in the 7-on-7, a great reception. The play of the day, actually, in that 7-on-7 period near the goal line, was a touchdown reception by Tradez Green, thrown by Colin Hurley. It was in the back left corner of the end zone. It was a jump ball, and Tradez went and got it, and over P.J. Woodland. Colin Hurley did throw an interception in the back of the end zone to J.K. Johnson. Great play on the sideline, right inside the pylon by Chris Hilton, who came up with a touchdown reception in 7-on-7, but he kind of got tangled up on contact. It was Jordan Allen who made contact as the ball was getting there. Great catch by Hilton, but came down, was favoring his ankle. So they held him out the rest of practice, but it didn't seem like it was going to be anything serious. All in all, a very good day of work, a very productive day of work. And you can see, again, The offense moved the ball. Nussmeier still, you want to purge some of those bad decisions. The defense making plays when they need to, and it was really encouraging to see. I had a chance to ask Brian Kelly after the scrimmage, from day one of camp to now, where were you where did you have some trepidation that you've seen progress and you feel good? And I left it open-ended because I didn't want to be leading him anywhere with the answer. And listen to the very first thing that came out of his mouth.
I like the way our corners have held up on the outside. I think, anytime you go into a year, you want to make sure you eliminate big plays. And one of the things that we all lived through last year was too many big plays on the defensive side of the ball. We've eliminated those big chunk plays, and that was job one.
They have simplified defensively to make sure they're not giving up the giant busted play, the busted coverage, the 16-yard completion that becomes a 60-yard completion. They have most certainly done that in this fall camp. Can it translate a week from Sunday, in 13 days when LSU lines up against Southern Cal? We'll all wait and see. But the early returns are pretty good on that front. And Brian Kelly told you point blank. A couple of the other notes, DJ Chester was absent. Freshman Cohen Eccles ran first-team center. They also rotated Garrett Dellinger in there. I think he'd be an emergency center in that situation. Emory Jones lost a rep to Savion Jones, and Will Campbell lost a rep in the pass rush drill to Braden Swinson. I think that's the second rep all fall camp that I've charted where Will Campbell lost a rep. It's eye-opening when he loses a rep because he just so seldom does. Brian Kelly talked about how there was a little bit of a stomach bug going through the team. That's why DJ Chester wasn't there. Said West and Whit Weeks both had it. It's amazing they practiced. Emory Jones, amazing he practiced. But they're working their way through it right now. But by and large, this is a pretty healthy football team as they make it into their final week now of fall camp. No availability Monday, Tuesday. We do get practice availability Wednesday. No availability Thursday, Friday. And we are scheduled to be able to see the scrimmage in Tiger Stadium on Saturday. Hopefully that holds up and gives us an opportunity to see this team a couple of more times before they get set for USC out in Vegas. Okay, it's After Further Review. Show open brought to you by Bud Light. Drink easy in Louisiana with the great taste of Bud Light. Make sure if you don't already, follow our friends over at Mockler Beverage on all the social media channels. They're at Mockler Beverage. Always have great stuff going on with our friends over at Mockler. Great promotions in and around the community, of course. We're talking about the official beer of the LSU Tigers, the official beer of the New Orleans Saints. So football season, nothing better than grabbing a nice cold Bud Light and cheering on your favorite team, the Tigers and the Saints. So drink easy with the great taste of Bud Light, the official beer of AFR. Okay, we'll knock out a quick break, come back. We'll go from the purple and gold to the black and gold. Saints fall 16-10 to the 49ers. I have some takeaways from that game. We'll get to it next. It's AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by River City's 1 Hour Air, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime. 752-0001, that's the phone number, 752-0001, 752-0001, or 1hourbr.com. Love sharing 5-star Google reviews. How about Kyle Schwab, who sent this 5-star review that said, I have River City managing both of my residential properties. I'm under a care plan with them, which has helped with longevity of my AC units. They are quick to respond, efficient, and knowledgeable. I recommend them highly. Another 5-star Google review of River City's 1 Hour Air. And I can tell you, I know we've talked so many times over the years about the maintenance plan. I'm a member. I can't recommend it highly enough. It comes with complimentary seasonal maintenance that I always talk about. It comes with membership club pricing and front-of-the-line service when you do have an emergency. It's priority service. It's River City's 1 Hour Air. Look for the big yellow vans and trucks with the giant clock on the side. 752-0001, 752-0001, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
It's an everyday thing here. We work horses in the mornings and we work on the property during the day, and without these John Deere tractors, it'd almost be impossible to keep up with the place. I've dealt with some of the other colors and stuff, and I never really got the response back that I get from John Deere, We really enjoy dealing with Sunshine. They're good people. They always check on us and make sure our equipment's running, and we love them. Flip the switch and learn more about what it means to be powered by Sunshine at sunequip.com.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows, windows, doors, siding. Oh yeah, they also do interior shutters.
New Orleans Saints dropped preseason game number 2, 16-10 on the road in Santa Clara against the 49ers. Dennis Allen, after this second preseason game, was asked if he feels like at this point he's got a good feel for his team.
Yeah, I got a better feel for him, and yet, I don't think the final verdict's out yet in terms of what we got, or what we're going to be. I know what we're building towards, and I like a lot of the things that I see. I like a lot of things that I'm feeling from our group. And yet there's some things that I think we still got to improve on.
Didn't sound like a guy that's super pumped coming out of the second preseason game. Sounds like a guy that's a little tired right now. But then again, I might be reading too much into that. I think when you look at a preseason game, it's so hard to say this because as sports fans, we're all trained to look at the result. We look at results. We look at wins and losses. We look at completions versus incompletions. We look at results, championships won, everything. In the preseason, you have to train yourself to just forget the result. Like, I don't care that the Saints lost 16-10. I don't care what the final score was. In a preseason game, similarly, I don't care that the Saints beat the Cardinals. What I care is that you had a 2-minute opportunity and Spencer Rattler led you down the field and Charlie Smith made the kick. Like, those are the things that you look for more than the actual result. So I don't care that the Saints lost 16-10. I love putting together a 16-play, 95-yard drive that eats up 8 minutes and 17 seconds off the clock, where your offensive line controlled totally the line of scrimmage. Especially with that being such a gigantic question mark. By the way, The two highest graded Saints players in the game, according to PFF, were Eric McCoy and Cesar Ruiz. So it translated. Like, your starting offensive line was really good after they were such a sore spot of the conversation against Arizona. So look, you go 3 and out, then boom, here's a 16-play, 95-yard drive that eats up 8:17 off the clock. You convert 2 fourth downs, Derek Carr to Bub Means on 4th and 5, and then Taysom Hill on the touchdown run on 4th down to get you into the end zone. It was awesome. I mean, it was a thing of beauty, and if that's the last time we see the starters in the preseason, what a way to punctuate it. And Dennis Allen was asked after, is that like what you envision this offense being?
Well, look, yeah, I mean, I like our ability to be able to run the football, some play-action passing game. I think, certainly I'd like for us to be able to get some explosive plays. I know this team that we just played traditionally doesn't give up a lot of explosive plays, so I think we knew kind of going into the game, that would be kind of challenging. But in the way that we were able to run the football, on that drive, I thought that was, really, really encouraging.
Undeniably. You know what else is weird? It was just weird seeing a Saints running back in 26. That's all. I will always and forever associate 26 with Deuce McAllister. And I know guys like P.J. Williams have worn 26 since Deuce played. But to see James Robinson wearing 26, he looked pretty good in it too. I mean, he's listed at 5'9", 219. Maybe the 26 being long just makes him feel like he's a little taller. But anyway, he looked good in the game wearing the 26, but it was odd seeing a running back wear 26 for the New Orleans Saints. But I love the drive. I loved Rico Payton, Anthony Orji, who continue to stand out for this Saints team. Rico Payton continues to underscore how much depth you have in the secondary. And look, Marshawn Lattimore's been injured. Kool-Aid McKinstry was injured on the first defensive series and left the game. It was a knee. Dennis Allen said, seems like it's nothing serious, which is great. You got a couple of weeks to get him ready before you play Carolina. But it just continues to underscore the depth you have in the secondary when a guy like Rico Payton plays the way he did. Dennis Allen's noticed.
I thought he did some really good things. They tested him, threw the ball down the field on him, several times. I think he's done some good things.
Anthony Orji played the entire game, led you with 8 tackles, had a TFL. 7 of those 8 tackles were solo. Look, a lot of us got to see Anthony Orji play at Vanderbilt if you're an SEC fan, and I know not a lot of people watch Vanderbilt, but I also got to meet him and interview him at SEC Media Days a couple of years back. He was a really good college football player on a very bad Vanderbilt team and a bad program, but that doesn't mean he can't play, and clearly he's shown that. He's a practice squad guy a year ago. Maybe that's a guy that can make this roster and be one of those rotational linebackers. Look, DeMarco Jackson got the start in this game with DeMario Davis and Pete Werner out. So it was nice to see some of the young guys continue to play well and build upon the good outings they've had. Now, the flip side of that is that when you go into a preseason game, yeah, you're looking for positives, but you're also looking for negatives. I mean, Shane Lemieux was very bad playing on the interior of the offensive line. As good as Spencer Rattler was in the second half last week, leading the touchdown drive, then leading the game-winning drive with the field goal, I would say this was a pretty notable step back for Spencer Rattler. He was 4 of 8 for 27 yards. He had the fumble, put the ball in harm's way. That's the uneven play that you kind of expect from young quarterbacks. So how do you develop a little more consistency? I'd assume we're going to see, I don't think we see Derek Carr at all against the Tennessee Titans this coming weekend. So if Rattler gets a half and Haener gets a half, who plays better? That half football may ultimately determine who wins the backup quarterback job for the season opener against Carolina. So, neither guy was particularly good in that game on Sunday night. Lou Hedley really struggled. Didn't pin any punts inside the 20-yard line. Was very uneven. And I think last year when Hedley and Groupie won the specialist jobs, it went to show you that Dennis Allen isn't married to anybody long term. And so, could Matthew Hayball be a guy that ultimately wins the Saints punting job? It's something that feels very much up in the air with 1 week left of of preseason before you're now in the game. You got to cut down to 53 and before you start to get into game mode for Carolina. The quarterbacks, Lou Hedley. And then I'd also say, man, I hated that Jordan Howden missed that tackle in the open field against Joshua Dobbs. I mean, your defense held Arizona to a 4th and goal. Again, in a real world scenario, after the 3rd down stop, they're kicking a field goal. I mean, it's a 7-6 ball game. They're kicking a field goal to go up 9-7 if this was actual regular season football. But it's the preseason, so you go for it. And it was a great defensive scheme call. And Jordan Howden was right there, and he gets juked and couldn't get Joshua Dobbs on the ground. He walks into the end zone, so now you're trailing. That's a play where if you're a guy right now, after all the conversation about Justin Simmons last week and how Howden and Jonathan Abram are trying to win that job opposite Tyrann Mathieu, that's the kind of play you got to make. You can't go make negative plays against a backup quarterback. But it happened. Peyton Turner. We talked a lot about Peyton Turner. So in our updates with Ross Jackson, we've talked a lot about Peyton Turner because this is a former first-round pick who's in the final year of his rookie. Like, he's done after this year. And so what his future will be depends on what he does this season. He's finally stayed healthy, and they've moved him inside, and he's had a good camp mostly because he's healthy. And he had a beautiful moment where he beat a double team. He got to the quarterback, and then he tackled a ghost. He just tackled air. Like, those are the types of plays where you got to finish a play to make an impact. But we didn't see it. So, again, there's stuff you like in that preseason game. There's stuff you didn't like. I don't really care about the result. It's what did you learn about your team? How much closer are you to finding who are the 53 guys that are going to make this roster, your first 53, that you're going to go to battle with against Carolina in week 1. And I think they got closer to that, but still some pretty big questions as they go into this final week of camp here. Saints are back home. So they're back home. They got the day off today. Tuesday, back to open practices. They'll be at Yulman Stadium on Tuesday on Tulane's campus, which is really cool. That after being gone for 3 weeks now, to come home, the fans will be able to get out there and see this team for the first time. And curious how that goes. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention Chase Young and the defensive front, the starting defensive front, because Chase Young looks like the guy that was the number 2 overall pick, that was the defensive rookie of the year. And we've seen this in him his first year and his 4th year in the league. The 2 years in between with the injuries have been the problem, right? When he's healthy, he looks awesome. Can he stay healthy? If he can, you struck gold. I mean, a bargain basement 1-year prove-it deal. They also had an awesome formation when Brian Brzee came up with the quarterback hit, where Chase Young went in at one end, Carl Granderson was the other end. They kicked Cam Jordan inside with Brian Brzee. Now, that defensive front looked pretty awesome. You can't block them all, and so it left Brian Brzee one-on-one, beat his guy, and he gets the quarterback hit and forces the incompletion. So there were some really good things defensively that you really like to see. So Saints fall 16-10, but that's hardly the story. As the Saints move into the final week of preseason, they'll play Tennessee Sunday at home in the Dome. And then we'll find out who makes this 53-man roster, at least the first 53-man roster. All right, y'all, it's after further review. Glad you're with us. We're brought to you by South Point Volkswagen, southpointvw.com. New and certified pre-owned in Baton Rouge and online at southpointvw.com. If you're in the market for a new vehicle or might be in the market for a new vehicle, you got to put Volkswagen on your list. And remember this. A lot of people say you got to buy American, support American, and I agree with that. Love to support American jobs. But with Volkswagen, you get the best of both worlds because you get the great German engineering, the style, feel, performance of luxury, the great gas mileage, all of it, and they're manufactured right here in the US of A at their Chattanooga, Tennessee plant. So you are getting the best of both worlds. You're getting luxury at a discount cost, and you're supporting American jobs as well. Airline just north of Highland, they are Louisiana's largest volume Volkswagen dealer. The back-to-school savings event's going on, so find out how you can save. Go to southpointvw.com, southpointvw.com. South Point Volkswagen. What's your direction? All right, y'all. Hope you had a great weekend, man. I did. Muso's out today. He's sick. Alondra, how are you? Thanks for hanging out. How are you, Alondra? Are you good?
I'm doing great. Thank you.
Did you have a great weekend?
I did. I won some money.
Oh, Where did you win money?
DDP by submission.
On
accident. It was an accident. Plus 600 odds.
Wait, so this was from the UFC card.
Yeah.
So you were trying to bet Adesanya?
I was trying to bet Drake is still,
Okay.
but by decision.
Okay.
And I accidentally hit by submission.
By submission.
Which was the least possible way for him to win.
Did you give that out on Bad Corner Advice?
I didn't. I didn't have an episode this week.
Why not?
Man, life has been crazy.
Who are you talking to?
I know.
Come on.
That's what I tell myself, though. Like, I swear. Like, I'm like, I don't have time. And then I'm like, Matt somehow does all. Like, I swear.
Do you know how many people are rolling their eyes right now listening to that?
I don't care.
It's true, though.
It's true. He does like a million things
I
and
do.
somehow finds time for all of it.
By the hardest.
Yeah.
But anyway, you just got to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, you ain't doing it. Someone else is. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
that's
Like
true.
someone else has produced. Like someone else produced an MMA podcast and gave out your pick.
Yeah.
You should have done it.
That's true. Although it wasn't my pick.
Strikes and gutters.
Yeah.
Blind squirrel finds a nut.
It
all
does,
that sort of
yeah.
stuff. All right, it's after further review. Thank you for hanging out. Alondra
Yeah.
pinch hitting in the clutch today. Musso, I don't know, late morning. He was texted us, said he was sick, so we appreciate Alondra for hanging out. And Paulie always. We appreciate Paulie for being here. But I forbid Paulie from ever leaving, so he just doesn't have a choice. He has to stay here. All right, it's after further review. Stick around.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by Glow Resources, glowresources.com. You know, you obviously could just do what Alondra does and just win sports bets all the time and make a living doing that. Or, you know, you can call Glow Resources. Complete employer solutions. If you're a business owner and you're having trouble in that hiring rat race, you're having trouble finding the people that are on time, reliable, capable of doing the job, meeting all the requirements, doing the job that you need, Glow Resources can help. Skilled blue-collar labor, but also they have a professional placement division. So pretty much any office job that you can imagine, like anything from executive level on down, they can help you find the people you need. And while their corporate office is here in Baton Rouge, they have offices all over the country, and they help find people for jobs not only all over the country, but all over the world. There is no limit to the scope of what Glow Resources can help with. They are complete employer solutions. Check them out online at glowresources.com.
Back to school savings at Bayou Ford. $12,000 off F-150. $12,000 off the new 2024 Ford F-150. And $10,000 off Expedition. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a complimentary extended warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
It's an everyday thing here. We work horses in the mornings and we work on the property during the day, and without these John Deere tractors, you know, it'd almost be impossible to keep up with the place. I've dealt with some of the other colors and stuff, and I never really got the response back that I get from John Deere, you know. We really enjoy dealing with Sunshine. They're good people. They always check on us and make sure our equipment's running, and we love them. Flip the switch and learn more about what it means to be powered by Sunshine at sunequip.com.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood Subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further. like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows, windows, doors, siding. Oh yeah, they also do interior shutters.
Today, odds came out simultaneously for the Bear Bryant Award, which goes to the best coach in college football, and coach most likely to be fired. Anybody want to take a guess? Alondra Pauly, top of the list, Bear Bryant Award. Who has the best odds to win the award this year for the best coach in college football? Anybody?
Ryan Day.
It is not Ryan Day, incidentally. He is one, two. I would have thought Ryan Day, too, because Ohio State has Ryan Day and Kirby Smart, everyone assumes interchangeably Ohio State, Georgia, national championship game, all that sort of stuff. Let's see. Ryan Day is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, ninth on the list. Not a bad guess, though. Paul, you got anybody?
I wouldn't have been Kirby Smart.
Kirby is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, is 8th, one spot ahead of Ryan Day. A little odd, right? I mean, that's where I would have started. Dan Lanning from Oregon.
Yeah, that kind of makes sense.
Why?
Because of his recruiting class, and last year was a good year for him too. I could see it. I could see him being like the dark horse of sorts.
Look up who won the Bear Bryant Award last year, please.
Okay.
So 2023 Bear Bryant Award winner. Typically, whoever wins the national championship wins they win the Bear Bryant Award. So that's what I looked at this was to say, okay, do they think Oregon's going to win the national championship? Dan Lanning has the best odds at 7-1, followed by Marcus Freeman of Notre Dame, Kalen DeBoer at Alabama, Kyle Whittingham, Steve Sarkisian, Lane Kiffin, Mario Cristobal, then, as you mentioned, Kirby Smart, Ryan Day. Mike Elko, Eli Drinkwitz, Josh Heupel all have better odds, by the way, than Brian Kelly, who's at 25-1. So the odds makers maybe not super high on BK and this LSU team. Do you have it? Who won it last year?
FSU coach Mike Norvell.
Mike Norvell won it. Okay, so they had an undefeated season.
Yeah.
They completely got hosed out of playing in the playoff. I don't want to get back into that conversation. You know where I stand on it, and I'm right. Because if you're just going to tell me you don't think, oh, here I go, they just wound me up. If you're going to tell me you don't think they were good enough, then why did we bother to play games? If the results on the field don't matter, why do we bother to play games? Take that and get lost. But here's what I thought was most interesting. So Billy Napier actually has odds to win the Bear Bryant Coach of the Year award at 40-1. He's also on the list of the first head coach to be fired.
That's why I was like.
So simultaneously, he's 40-1 to win the Bear Bryant Coach of the Year award, and he's also 4-1, the highest odds to be the first coach fired. By the way, the second highest odds there are Sam Pittman. Is notable, Mario Cristobal has the third highest odds to be the first coach fired, and Cristobal's also on here at 11-1 to win Coach of the Year. So Lanning, Freeman, DeBoer, Whittingham, Sark, Kiffin, Cristobal. So he's got the 7th best odds to win Coach of the Year and the 3rd best odds to be the first coach fired. You can just tell who the coaches are that have the most, I don't want to say pressure because everyone has pressure, but where you have these pendulum swinging moments for these programs and where they are this year, where it's very much, you're going to play a lot of 50-50 games. How do you do? For example, that I just mentioned two. Mario Cristobal at Miami, Billy Napier at Florida. They play week one. The week one, we're going to talk about these betting odds here in a second. For week one, the lines are out for week one. Miami's a 2-point favorite at Florida. Whichever coach wins that game, all of a sudden, they're on high ground with respect to their program. Whoever loses it, the temperature just gets ratcheted up on that seat. All right, it's after further review. Monday shows are brought to you by Relief Windows. Love telling you about Optimize, GeneratorPeople.com, GeneratorPeople.com, GeneratorPeople.com. Y'all, when bad weather rolls through, knocks the power out, something unfortunately we live with so often here in South Louisiana, and sometimes there's ice storms that knock the power out for days. What are you going to do? You're going to wait in long lines for gas, wait in long lines for ice, be miserable in your home, sweating, hot, or as soon as the power goes out, boom, your Generac automatic home standby generator powers on, and it powers your whole home as if nothing ever happened. Sounds good. I say it every day, but literally everyone listening to me would love a Generac automatic home standby generator. There's no human that would be like, nah, I'm good. So, with the question with the generator is because it's a commodity. Lots of different companies sell the same product. So who should you call and why? Well, Optimize, they are the generator people. They do one thing. They sell, service, and install Generac automatic home standby generators. They're not an electrical company that has a generator division. They're not an HVAC company that also sells generators. Like, they're not a plumber that also sells generators. They do one thing better than anyone else. They sell, service, and install Generac automatic home standby generators. They have 4 physical locations servicing the entire 1012 corridor from Lake Charles to Slidell, everywhere in between. And they're online at GeneratorPeople.com, GeneratorPeople.com. So call today or go online. Tell them Matt sent you in, GeneratorPeople.com for Optimize, GeneratorPeople.com. Okay, do it every day about this time. Let's go around the SEC.
Around the SEC, bringing you the biggest news from the nation's best conference. The Ole Miss Rebels.
Ole Miss defensive lineman Xavion Harris was arrested Sunday on domestic violence and obstruction arrest charges. He played in 11 games last season. 6'7", 320. Harris had been projected to be in the line rotation this fall. Harris is 20 years old, was also arrested July of 2023 on DUI charges, as well as felony fleeing and other charges. Choir boy.
The Georgia Bulldogs.
Racing and reckless driving charges were dismissed against Georgia starting linebacker Smile Munden on Monday. Munden pleaded guilty to a misdemeanor count of driving too fast. He was going 75 in a 40. His attorney said Smile accelerated too fast, but he was not racing and wasn't reckless. He accelerated too fast. It's good to be a starting linebacker at Georgia in Athens. Munden played in 13 games last season, started 11 times at linebacker. He was second on the team in tackles. He's the second Georgia player, by the way, in as many weeks to have a reckless driving charge dismissed. Also, the biggest news on the field, return of Jared Wilson at center. 6'3", 310-pounder. He's their starting center. Been sidelined most of camp with Achilles tendonitis. Wilson going back to center meant Tate Ratledge could go back to right guard where he starts.
The South Carolina Gamecocks.
Jane Beamer updated the injury report after the Gamecocks' second preseason scrimmage. Defensive end Brian Thomas, tight end Reed Mikeska, offensive lineman Ja'Kai Moore, tight end Nick Elksons, and defensive end Elijah Davis. They were all held out on Saturday, although Beamer said they all should be fine. Running back Rocket Sanders, who missed the first scrimmage, that's the Arkansas transfer, Rocket Sanders, missed the first scrimmage, participated on Saturday.
The Alabama Crimson Tide.
And Alabama. Boy, those Bammers took another one on the chin. Not sure if you saw it, but linebacker Jaden Harmon announced he's flipping his commitment from Alabama to Tennessee. Four-star linebacker, number 18 linebacker in the entire country, number 155 overall. Decommitted from Alabama, said, "Hey, Kalen DeBoer, pah! Give me my music. What are we doing?" Every time I see misery cast upon the Alabama Crimson Tide and their goofball fan base. These entitled nincompoops whose glorious run has come to an end. Louder. Every time I see it, I wonder to myself, has the time come to bury the Bama is burning bit? Has the time come to bury the Bama is burning bit? I think to myself as a broadcaster, eventually you have to advance the bit. There has to be like a heel turn or something, like in wrestling. And I think to myself, maybe it's not going to play this time. Maybe people won't be interested. And then I do it inevitably. LSU fans rejoice. Bama fans melt. They end up saying heinous and vulgar things in my Twitter mentions. And I just laugh at them. What game does Alabama want to win more than any other, Alondra? You tell me, what game?
LSU game?
No,
Texas?
Alondra. No, come on. Alondra, shut off your mic. Paulie, what game does Alabama want to win more than any other every year?
Auburn game.
It's the Auburn game, the Iron Bowl. After that, what's their second biggest rival? The reason we have this awful scheduling system in the SEC year after year after year with all these stupid permanent opponents when nobody else does that because it's stupid. What is it?
Tennessee.
It is Tennessee. Thank you, Paulie. Third Saturday in October. Smoking cigars on the field. Oh, Tennessee, Alabama. Bama won a bajillion in a row. They had to get Butch Jones on their staff so he could finally win one. Well, you know what happened now, Crimson Tide? The Tide has... Give me that again. Louder. Go louder. Start it over from the beginning. I don't want this part. That part sucks. This is the part I want. You know what happened now? You're losing recruits to Tennessee. Top linebackers out of the state of Georgia who had been committed to Kalen DeBoer. And Kane Womack. It's spelled Womack, but he says Womack because that's what we do in the South. And said, hey, you know what? Kane Womack and Kalen DeBoer, that's too many cuz. I'm going to Rocky Top. I'm going to play in front of the quietest 100,000 seat stadium ever. I'm going to wear gaudy, ugly orange. I'm going to genuflect before a dog, a hound. I'm going to run out of a tee in a checkerboard end zone because that's better than dealing with you. Pah! You know what Jaden Harmon said? That's his name, right? You know what Jaden Harmon said? Do you want to know what Jaden Harmon said?
What did he say?
Jaden Harmon said, I don't feel like burning my feet when I walk in Tuscaloosa. Because that mofo is burning to the ground. It's nothing but molten lava. It's rubble. It's ash and brimstone. That's all that's left in Tuscaloosa right now. You're losing linebacker commits to Tennessee. You're losing commits to Central Florida. Your best players play at Ohio State and Texas right now. I said it before, I say it again, and I'm going to keep telling you every damn time I get an opportunity. I'm not telling you you're going to be awful. I'm not telling you you're going 6-6. I'm not telling you you're never going to win anything of significance ever again. What I'm telling you, your charmed life is over. Your charmed existence is done. You're going to lose commits to Tennessee, and you're going to lose commits to UCF, and you're going to lose games. Just like last year when Texas walked into Bryant-Dennehy Stadium and whipped your ass by double digits. Get ready for more of that. Something that was completely unforeseen and unheard of in the Nick Saban era now is going to become the norm. I hope you enjoyed the Capital One Bowl. They still call it the Capital One Bowl?
No idea.
I think they call it the Citrus Bowl. I hope you enjoy the Citrus Bowl. Actually, I hope you hate the Citrus Bowl. I hope you have to play in a quagmire of a field against Penn State on New Year's Day. And you have to enjoy it. You know who won't be there? What's his name? Jaden Harmon won't be there. Because he's going to play for a real program. And us sending coach and Josh Heupel and the Tennessee Volunteers. Pah! All right, go to break.
AFR.
We're really late now. That was the first time Alondra got to see Bama is Burning. What'd you think?
I loved it.
Did you really?
Every second of it.
Oh, good. I'm glad. Brought by Action Industries. ActionIndinc.com. I just can't wait now that we put that clip out. So, because none of the Bama people are going to see any of the preamble or what happened after. They're just going to see that. And they're going to be like, he's obsessed with us. That's all he ever talks about. How does he have a show? I'm like, no, about once a month. I'll do about 5 minutes. But it's all you ever see. Action Industries. If you know about Action Industries, all you'll ever see is an exemplary safety record. It is so hard to get hired to do work inside the fence, these plants. You have to have an exemplary safety record. Action Industries, 42 years in this market, serving the plants up and down the river. Hey, maybe you got a mega contractor job going on right now, and you need to supplement your workforce. Action Industries can help. Action Industries. Action Industries. Check them out.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared toward seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
When it comes to ending cancer, we push forward, always working together for you. That's why our cancer experts at Ochsner have clinically integrated with MD Anderson Cancer Center. This means advanced cancer care, including access to life-saving clinical trials and integrating care to treat the whole you. Introducing Ochsner MD Anderson Cancer Center. Long live you.
BRAC teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. BRAC, your #1 park system in the nation.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows, windows, doors, siding. Oh yeah, they also do interior shutters.
Y'all, it's week 0. Can you believe it, man? We actually got college football this weekend. That's pretty exciting. We're less than 2 weeks away from kickoff. LSU and USC out in Vegas. We did announce the launch of LouisianaSports.net. I'm sure by now you've heard us or any of us here around the building, the station, talk about it. If you're on social media, you probably saw it as well this weekend. But LouisianaSports.net is a totally free website where our idea is to super serve the Louisiana sports fan with content. So we're leading with LSU and Saints. We'll also have SEC coverage. Eventually, we do plan to have a dedicated Pelicans reporter, a dedicated a recruiting reporter, state schools prep. We're going to get there, We launch with LSU and Saints and SEC coverage as well here to start the season. And Circa has updated betting lines for opening weekend. We have this up at LouisianaSports.net if you want to check it out. But the updated odds for week 1 for the SEC of note, Florida a 2-point dog at home against Miami. How about Texas A&M, a 2.5-point favorite against Notre Dame? I thought that was interesting. And honestly, if you're an LSU fan or an SEC fan, you are pulling hard for Texas A&M in that game, because the last thing you want to have happen is Notre Dame be a bid stealer as an at-large in the 12 team. You need Notre Dame to get losses hung on them. So you're really kind of pulling for A&M in that game. Short segment here. My apologies for that. I went along with Bama's burning. Let me knock out a break. SportsCenter's coming up. We'll talk about LSU's 2 commitments over the weekend.
AFR.
Brought to you by Parish Construction and Roofing. ParishBuilt.com, ParishBuilt.com. I got an email today from a listener who said, you're selling a home and we need to replace the roof. We're interested in a fortified roof. Well, I've talked about this for a while now. Fortified roof is a standard of protection for your roof. And if you install a fortified roof on your home, your insurance company, depending on who your insurance company is, will offer up to a 50% discount on your insurance premiums. It varies by insurance company. And the state of Louisiana has a grant program whereby you can get a $10,000 grant to install a fortified roof. We are a certified fortified roof installer, so we can help you not only go through that process to get your grant approved, but install the roof as well. So give us a shout at Parish Construction and Roofing, ParishBuilt.com, ParishBuilt.com. Fill it out right there on the homepage, ParishBuilt.com.
There's nothing chill about a hot, sweaty line. Unless you add mountain cold refreshment. Coors Light. Choose chill.
Back to school savings at Bayou Ford. $12,000 off F-150. $12,000 off the new 2024 Ford F-150. And $10,000 off Expedition. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a complimentary extended warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial properties. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
It's an everyday thing here. We work horses in the mornings and we work on the property during the day, and without these John Deere tractors, you know, it'd almost be impossible to keep up with the place. I've dealt with some of the other colors and stuff, and I never really got the response back that I get from John Deere, you know. We really enjoy dealing with Sunshine. They're good people. They always check on us and make sure our equipment's running, and we love them. Flip the switch and learn more about what it means to be powered by Sunshine at sunequip.com.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
The best kept secret in town is out. Discover Tallulah at the Renaissance Hotel on Bluebonnet.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Jaden Daniels, the second overall pick in this year's NFL Draft, officially named the Commanders' starting quarterback as expected. He's been working with the first team exclusively in training camp, and the Commanders like what they saw out of Daniels this preseason, explains ESPN's Dan Orlovsky.
The things that were the superpowers of his in college football, some of the ball placement, it's shown itself through the first 2 weeks of the preseason. He's getting the ball out quickly. It's going to the right shoulder. They designed or used some designed quarterback runs.
In the opinion of Dolphins quarterback Tua Tagovailoa, Dolphins coach Mike McDaniel and his predecessor Brian Flores couldn't be more different. He told the Dan Le Batard show of the negative daily reinforcement he got from Flores as opposed to the laid-back, encouraging style of McDaniel, and he has flourished under McDaniel. Falcons will sit rookie quarterback Michael Penix Jr. for Friday's preseason finale. Braves third baseman Austin Riley expected to miss 6 to 8 weeks with a fractured right hand. Atlanta's 7 games back of NL East leading Philadelphia has a 2-game lead for the final NL wildcard spot on the Mets.
Hey, it's Evan Cohen. Coming up Tuesday, we continue to get you ready for football. We go 2-a-days with the Dolphins and the Rams. It's Unsportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge Studios.
That's right.
Hour 2, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by Relief Windows. I'm Matt.
This is Shaq O'Neal, and I hate Matt.
Paul O'Neal.
They're chanting Paul O'Neal's name.
Alondra Villarreal. Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. The Bama's burning thing does a number on my voice. So I was trying to go all Michael Buffer, as I do whenever Alondra's here, to announce her. And my voice just went out on me. It gave up on me.
I mean, it's worth it, though.
Yeah. Not whenever I'm still hoarse like a week from now. It's the problem. I don't know. Maybe it's just because I talk a lot and have for so long that I think this probably happens with singers. You know, like they strain their voice so much that they have to do a lot of rest and recovery on there to take care of their vocal cords. I think like when I do stuff like that, because I'm not like a singer and I don't take care of my voice like that, when I do stuff like that, it does hurt a little bit.
But again, it's worth it.
Is it?
I think it is.
Okay. All right, Dennis Allen updated the injury on Kool-Aid McKinstry and several others. We'll get to that here in about 15 minutes from right now. What a weekend for LSU for the future of the football program. Not one, but 2 commitments pop over the weekend. On Sunday, Cade Phillips flips from Texas to LSU. On Saturday, it was Mike Tyler, the tight end out of South Carolina, who picked the Tigers. Let's start there just to go chronologically. So this was expected. Mike Tyler from Columbia, South Carolina. Love that graphic, by the way. Graphic you'll find at louisianasports.net. Mike Tyler from Columbia, South Carolina. So in the backyard of the Gamecocks. And LSU swoops in and gets the athletic tight end. We talked about Mike Tyler a bit because Shea Dixon had kind of put us onto this, that Tyler was a heavy LSU lean. They thought this was going to happen. 6'3", 230 pounds. I love this because the comp is Mason Taylor. And don't roll your eyes or laugh. But Mason Taylor, when he was coming out of high school, was 6'4", 230. Mike Tyler, 6'3", 230. Mason Taylor in the composite was the number 51 tight end. Mike Tyler's the number 38 tight end. And obviously year to year it varies, but you're talking about very comparable prospects. Guys that need to get bigger, grow into their body, but have the frame to do it and have the athleticism as pass catchers. So, yes, I like it. You beat out South Carolina and NC State and Ole Miss. He had offers also from a whole bunch of Power 5 programs. Georgia Tech, Maryland, Virginia Tech, Duke, West Virginia. It's a big, long list. So, and the thing I always say about tight ends, you know it by now. Brian Kelly has pumped tight ends into the NFL draft more than any other position save offensive line. In his 10 years at Notre Dame, Brian Kelly had 8 tight ends drafted in 10 years. If you go back to Brian Kinchin at LSU in the 1988 draft, from 1989 to present day, LSU has had 8 tight ends drafted. So Brian Kelly had as many tight ends drafted in his decade at Notre Dame as LSU has had from 1989 to present day. 35 years. Y'all, that is massively impressive. So if Brian Kelly likes a prospect at tight end, I'm good with it. Let's just say it like that. So Mike Tyler becomes the second tight end in the class of 2025. He joins J.D. LaFleur, son of David LaFleur, an LSU legacy and a former first-round pick at tight end. And remember, you're very likely going to lose Mason Taylor this year to the draft. So if Mason Taylor's gone, with Mac Markway and Jackson McGowan already transferring out, the only tight ends scholarship tight ends you still have on the roster then next year would be Kamorian Pimpton and Trey Green. So you've got to fortify that spot. Now here's the second commit for the class of 2025 at tight end. The 23rd commit overall. That popped on Saturday night. And then Sunday, LSU turned the trick again. It was Cade Phillips flipping from Texas to LSU. Another hat tip to Shea Dixon, who kind of put us onto this, that this was one last Tuesday when we talked to Shea. So that Cade Phillips was one of 3 names he gave us as guys that could flip to LSU, and less than a week later, that actually happened. So Cade Phillips, just a little more than a month ago, beginning of July, committed to Texas. 6 foot, 185-pounder. He's out of Missouri City, which is the Houston area. So guy from the Houston area commits to Texas. A month later, he flips to LSU. He's a 4-star in the composite, the number 18 cornerback. But on 3, thinks much more highly of Cade Phillips. On 3, ranks Cade Phillips as the number 65 overall prospect in the country. Any position, number 65, and the 7th best cornerback. And he had offers, again, you look at the offer list, from everybody. LSU, Texas, Texas A&M, Baylor, Arizona State, Auburn, Oregon, Michigan, Penn State, Missouri, Ole Miss, TCU, Nebraska, Arkansas, on and on and on and on. There's a million of them. So now when you look at the cornerback position for LSU in 2025, DJ Pickett's committed, the number 1 corner in the country. Now you add Cade Phillips to that list as well. Remember, you're going to lose Sage Ryan and Zy Alexander to eligibility. You're bringing in Pickett, Phillips, maybe Aiden Anding. You may not be done there. Remember, you're likely returning Ashton Stamps and J.K. Johnson and Jair Brown and Javen Toviano, P.J. Woodland, Bernard Causey, Michael Turner, Wallace Foster. So you got a lot of numbers, but you got to keep supplementing because you don't know what's going to happen in the transfer portal. But I'll say this again. 2 things. Number 1, I love Phillips as a prospect, and I love that you flipped him from Texas. Like we always talk about when it's Louisiana prospects, right? When LSU doesn't land a Louisiana prospect that they want, it always stings more when they go to an SEC school or someone you're going to play. When Devontae Smith goes to Alabama, that sucks. When Jacoby Matthews is a 5-star safety from Ponchatoula goes to Texas A&M, that sucks. When last year Aaron Anderson or 2 years ago Aaron Anderson and Chaz Preston went to Alabama, that sucks, right? Derek Williams, Wardell Mack both went to Texas, right? Louisiana kids that went to a school that was coming into the SEC. It's way easier, more palatable when a kid from the state that you don't get, when Jaden Osbury goes to Notre Dame. You wanted him, but he went to a place where you're never going to see him. So it's not going to hurt you. So think about that. And this Texas fans are feeling that today. This is a kid from the Houston area. They had committed, and he flipped. So not only out of their class, but flipped to a school that they're going to have to play. Because LSU and Texas are going to play eventually. So big win in that respect. The other thing that I got to mention, And a lot of you know what I'm going to say and where I'm going to go with this. But all you people, and you know who you are, all you people who defamed, who blasphemed against Corey Raymond, you should know better. Oh, I heard it all. Corey Raymond got lazy. Corey Raymond can't recruit anymore. Corey Raymond lost his fastball. Corey Raymond, blah, 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 blah. I try to tell y'all, in the same way that 82-year-old Pete Jenkins came into Baton Rouge last year when LSU's defense stunk and he got out there and made the defensive line better, Corey Raymond didn't forget how to backpedal and flip his hips. You know what I mean? Corey Raymond knows how to coach DBs. He didn't lose that. And he didn't stop recruiting at LSU. He had Elias Ricks here. He had Dwight McGlothern here. He had Jay Ward, Cordell Flott. They had recruited Sage Ryan, who was a 5-star. They got Mo Hampton, who was a highly regarded guy. Didn't work out. Baseball two-sport guy. They had Radarius Jones and Demarius McGee and LaTerrence Walsh. They had guys there. Your head coach ran the program into the ground. New coach came in, didn't retain Corey Raymond. All those guys left. So you had a heavy transfer portal class. You hit on all those guys. Mekhi Gardner, Jark Bernard-Converse, Greg Brooks, Joe Fouché. You hit on all of them. And then they were all gone after 1 year. And the class you brought in, you whiffed on all of them. You whiffed on Denver Harris and Deuce Chestnut and all those guys. So now you bring back Corey Raymond. Who's got anything to say anymore? Said at the time, I'll say it again. The single biggest mistake Brian Kelly made when he was hired, the single biggest, was not retaining Corey Raymond. I'm not saying it's the only one, but it was the single biggest mistake he made, was not retaining Corey Raymond. Because if you retain Corey Raymond, then you keep Elias Ricks, and you keep Dwight McGlothern, and you keep maybe Radarius Jones and Demarius McGee and LaTerrence Welch and all these, and you don't have this massive turnover, and you don't have to go get a heavy portal class. And you keep recruiting top-tier guys, and maybe Wardell Mack ends up at LSU. And anyway, the point is, if there was any lingering question or doubt about Corey Raymond, can y'all punt that forever? You know who you are. I don't need to go on to Twitter and do the old takes exposed thing because you know who you are. All I'm saying right now, I'm asking y'all, can y'all just bury that forever? Like, mea culpa, just be done. We're good. You know, peace offering, olive branch, all that stuff. Just not talk about that ever again. Can we agree now we're just not going to talk about that anymore? Huge get. LSU's class up to 24 for the class of 2025, and they ain't done. A couple of big time. Aiden Anding's going to announce this weekend. Of course, Jonah Williams, the number one safety in America, is going to announce this weekend. See if the Tigers can get good news there. All right, it's after further review. We're glad you're here. Love telling you about First South Farm Credit, firstsouthland.com. Firstsouthland.com. If you're thinking of buying land, your first call, your first option should be to First South Farm Credit. Visit firstsouthland.com. Since 1916, they do one thing: help Louisianians buy land. It's that simple. Recreational property, First South Farm Credit. Want that acreage to build your family's dream home? First South Farm Credit. And it may be a hunting property in Mississippi. Doesn't matter. They can help you buy land in any of the contiguous 48 states. It's First South Farm Credit. Go to firstsouthland.com. That's firstsouthland.com. Your first call should be to First South Farm Credit. firstsouthland.com. All right, y'all. Good day. I got to do a really cool thing this weekend, man. I got to go on Sunday to the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame voting committee and be a proxy voter. I get to vote for the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame class on Sunday. And I'd love to tell you about that. I can't tell you who was elected. That's embargoed, and that'll come out later. But so I won't. But I would. I was talking to Doug Ireland, and he said, we'd love for you to talk about the process and all that stuff on your show. So I would love to do that because I think it was fascinating. It was something I've never done before, and I'd love to share it with you, shed some light on how that all works. We'll do that in about 15 minutes. When we come back, Dennis Allen shed some light on a couple of injuries that the Saints sustained Sunday night out in Santa Clara, including Kool-Aid McKinstry. We'll get to that next. It's AFR.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by Clegg's Nursery with 4 locations in the greater Baton Rouge area: Seaganeer Airline, LA 16 in Denham Mid-City on Donmore, and the Garden Center on Greenwell Springs. Couple of things, y'all, as we move into fall. They're starting to get ready for fall. your fall bedding plants, your fall vegetable garden, your vegetable garden seeds, Johnny Naylor seeds. They've got them at Clegg's. Everything you need, they've got there. Also, Buckbusters is already in. We'll tell you more about Mobucks and deer corn when it arrives. Should be any day, really. And even though we're getting closer to fall, it still feels like summer, even though it's overcast and 84 right now. And if you're still enjoying your outdoor spaces but dealing with a lot of pests, ants and mosquitoes and a lot of stuff like that, they have what you need to get rid of those pests. I tell you all the time about the Aeon Mosquito Barrier for about $30. You can be done with mosquitoes 90 days at a time. It's incredible and it works. It's at Clegg's Nursery. Get by any of the 4 Clegg's Nursery locations. Buy local, shop local, and tell them Matt sent you in to Clegg's Nursery.
When it comes to ending cancer, we push forward, always working together for you. That's why our cancer experts at Oshner have clinically integrated with MD Anderson Cancer Center. This means advanced cancer care, including access to life-saving clinical trials and integrating care to treat the whole you. Introducing Oshner MD Anderson Cancer Center. Long live you.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has back-to-school savings like $16,000 off 25 Ram 1500 trucks. We're open for business in our beautiful new showroom and taking $16,000 off. All new Bayou vehicles come with a complimentary extended warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
At Relief Windows, we're more than windows. We're windows, doors, hardy plank, and vinyl siding. But our #1 product is always customer satisfaction. Visit us online at reliefwindows.com. Oh, by the way, we do shutters too.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood Subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because
After further review, presented by Relief Windows, windows, doors, siding. Oh yeah, they also do interior shutters.
All right, glad you're rolling along with us here on this Monday edition of AFR, presented by Relief Windows. Saints dropped their second preseason game out in Santa Clara, 16-10. They lose to the 49ers, although we've talked about, I don't really care about the result of the game. That's insignificant. It's more about how they played and what we learned, and we talked about that a little bit, in the second segment of the show there in hour number 1. And I think there were some really good things. I think defensively, the Saints were quite good. I loved some of those defensive packages that we saw. That sort of NASCAR package look whenever Chase Young's on one end, Carl Granderson's on the other. Cam Jordan kicked inside, and Brian Brzee was there. That looked really good. I like the depth in the secondary. That's something that's exciting. is to see that even when Marshawn Lattimore isn't there, you have guys that can. Kool-Aid McKinstry went down. You had guys that stepped up. Rico Payton, Shamar John Charles was really good as well. So you've built some really nice depth on the defense. It underscores something that I think every one of us knows and we talk about here, but Dennis Allen is a really good defensive coach. No one has ever debated that. The least of which is me. As much as I do criticize Dennis Allen, the head coach, with his warranted, it is also undeniable that Dennis Allen was a giant part of the last decade of Saints football being really good defensively. When the thing went off the rails with Rob Ryan, it was bringing Dennis Allen back that steadied that ship. And even as a head coach, the Saints defenses have been good. So that part of it's impressive. It's just, do you believe they can figure things out offensively to be a championship caliber team? And that's the giant question everybody has. But don't want to lose the point. Defensively, it was a little disappointing to see some guys go down. And rookie second rounder Kool-Aid McKinstry, who was so good in that opener at cornerback, went down on the opening drive, did not return. It was a knee injury, and Dennis Allen after the game had this to say about McKinstry's injury.
He has a knee injury. I think we avoided, anything serious. Now, what kind of time we're looking at, I really have no idea. But I think we escaped that I think we escaped the game, at least on initial report, without any major injuries.
No word on timeline. The great news is you escape major injury, right? That's the great news. I mean, you hear knee injuries, especially in the preseason, skill position guys, super athletic like that, stop, start, agility, you worry. But seems like they escaped anything major, which is great news. But it's also not ideal. I mean, obviously, right? You lose a guy to injury, it's not ideal. But maybe underscored because, McKinstry's emergence here in this camp and in the first couple of preseason games, it's kind of given the Saints latitude with Lattimore's injury and his contract situation. So we've talked so much about Marshawn Lattimore's future in New Orleans. And rightfully so. I think there were very legitimate considerations, if not conversations, about trading Marshawn Lattimore. I mean, do you want to extend him? Is this going to be his last year in New Orleans? If it is, do you trade him now to get something for him instead of watching him leave after this season? I think all those are conversations that have to be had. But when you have, it's the reason they drafted Kool-Aid McKinstry. It's why they drafted him. You're going to pay Paulson Adebo after this year. And you've got Alontae Taylor, who's played really well at the nickel and can probably play safety for you as well. You drafted Kool-Aid McKinstry because of this. And the fact that you appear to have hit gives you a safety net. It gives you leverage in any type of conversation. And if you went into this season thinking, all right, McKinstry and Adebo could be your corners, then you could trade Marshawn Lattimore and get some type of draft capital back. At this point, especially because of this injury and maybe the uncertainty, I would say that you're probably more looking at a Lattimore trade if it happens. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I don't know. But what would seem more plausible right now would be at the trade deadline. So the trade deadline is actually Halloween. It's October 31st. So if you look at where the Saints, that would be after the Saints' 8th playing date. So if you were to look at the Saints' schedule and where they would be at that point, here you go. So the Saints' bye comes in week 12. So if you look at the schedule, the trade deadline would come after the Saints play at the Chargers. So you open up against Carolina at home. Let's say you win that one. You're 1-0. At Dallas, Philly, at Atlanta, at KC. 3 of your next 4 on the road. You're probably an underdog in all 4 of those games. Let's say you manage to steal let's say you manage to steal one of them. I don't know that you do. There's a real chance you could be 1-4 through 5 weeks. I think best case probably 2-3. Then you're home against Tampa Bay, which I think in your building, in the Dome, is a winnable game. And then you get Denver on a Thursday. It's a short week, but you're home. And then you get a long week and you're at LA, where you're probably going to be an underdog on the road in that game. So I think through 8 games, probably 3-5. And I think a best case is you beat Carolina, you steal one of those next 4, Dallas, Philly, Atlanta, KC, so you're 2-3. And then, you win 2 of your next 3 with Tampa, Denver at home, and then at LA. Best case through 8 weeks, I think you're 4-4. I think worst case, you're 2-6. Split the difference, call it 3-5. If you're 3-5 through 8 weeks, are you thinking, move at the trade deadline? Are you thinking, dump assets to recoup draft capital to contenders? Maybe. I don't know that right now, especially with McKinstry's injury and the uncertainty there, that's plausible. But it's something that feels more realistic once you get into the season if McKinstry's back healthy and the Saints are losing, which is not something I'm cheering for. I want to be abundantly clear before we go in the season. I am not a tank guy. I'm not I want to see my team lose guy. I want to see the Saints win every freaking game they play. But I'm going to give you honest opinions, and my opinion is that's not going to happen. I think this is a sub-500 team that's probably a 5 or 6 win team. That's what I think they are. That's what I think they are. They may do better than that, but I'm just giving you an opinion. And you have an opinion just like I do, and we all have our opinions of what the team will be, and we'll see what it is. Odds makers say over under 7.5. So they think they're an 8-9 or 7-10 football team. I think they're probably a little bit worse than that. But the real positive in all this is the cornerback depth, right? You have Lattimore, Adebo, Taylor, Kool-Aid. You've got those 4 guys. You seem to have hit here on Rico Payton, who has been really impressive. Our buddy Ross Jackson over at LouisianaSports.net voted Rico Payton his dog of the day for the game, so big time standout. So I would love to see that. If you're wondering, by the way, this is something worth keeping an eye on as well. Went back and checked. Last year in the first 53, when the Saints cut down from 90 to the 53-man roster, they kept 6 safeties. Now JT Gray's in that number, right? You're talking about a guy that's a safety by positional definition, but really he's a special teamer. And just 4 cornerbacks on the roster a year ago. So if you look at it now with Lattimore, Adebo, Taylor, and Kool-Aid, that's 4. You have room for Rico Payton. I mean, he's played well enough to deserve a spot, but if you keep a 5th corner, then where do you maybe take? Are you leaner at another position? And I don't have the answer to that. But that's the numbers game that this coaching staff is going to have to figure out and play with as they get closer to that cut down date here with the 3rd and final preseason game coming up on Sunday. All right, y'all. It's After Further Review. We're brought to you by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, lmfj.com, lmfj.com for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Locations all over Louisiana. 2 in Baton Rouge, Corporate Boulevard in Bocage, in the Mall of Louisiana, of course. New Orleans, Lafayette, Shreveport. 9 locations in all of Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, where the thing that always sets Lee Michaels apart is the Lee Michaels experience. Of course, you're never going to see a lab diamond, a man-made diamond. It's not a science experiment. It's a symbol of your love. And so at Lee Michaels, they only sell diamonds from the finest diamond mines in the world. As a matter of fact, Scott goes on these purchasing trips for all of their stores throughout the year where he'll go over to India and buy the finest diamonds. And because he's buying in bulk for 9 different stores, he can give you the best deal. That's the thing that sets Lee Michaels apart. It's not the cookie-cutter, impersonal relationship of a big box store, but it's also not the really small boutique where maybe selection and price isn't as good. Lee Michaels is big enough that they have a great selection, and they're big enough that they have enough inventory that they can give you a great price. It's Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. lmfj.com, lmfj.com for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. All right, y'all, it's After Further Review. Monday show is brought to you by Relief Windows. Glad to have you hanging out with us here. Remember, you can always email us, tweet us, or text us in the 225-396-4400, 396-4400, 396-4400. Lots of ways that you can get involved in the show. We always appreciate you for joining us and getting involved. We were earlier in the show. I don't even know how we kind of got derailed talking about expanded playoff, and I think we're talking about some of the week 1 odds and all that stuff. But Eric, I brought up Florida State again, getting left out. Eric said Florida State would have gotten shellacked in the college football playoff like they did against Georgia. LOL, they didn't belong. First of all, it's kind of annoying when people put LOL or smiley or laughing faces. It's just stupid. Don't do that. Make your point. Don't be an idiot. That's number one. Number two, their entire team opted out against Georgia. That wasn't a what in what. That wasn't the two teams at whole like it would be in a playoff. And I think intellectually you know that. And quite honestly, Eric or whoever, I don't really give a damn your opinion. I don't. And you shouldn't give a damn about mine. And I don't give a damn about the opinions of the 12 people sitting in a room that are voting on who gets to be in the playoff. Your opinion doesn't matter. If your opinion mattered, then why do we play football games? Why do we play games? We play games to determine the result on the field. I don't care what you think would happen. That's irrelevant. It's why you play games. And if you win all of your games, you should have an opportunity to play in a playoff. That is objectively true. There is no counter-argument to that. Otherwise, why are we playing games? You do not have a counter-argument to that. There isn't one. Don't even try. Because if you try to counter-argue that, you just sound stupid. Literally stupid. It's why 12 is going to be better. Because we'll never again have a scenario where a team from a power conference goes undefeated and doesn't get a chance to play for a championship. That will never happen again. Ever. And that's a good thing. And 12 will become 14, will become 16 or whatever, however they escalate it. It's going to escalate. They're going to continue to grow in the playoff, and they should. Till it looks like an actual real playoff like every other sport in the history of mankind has. All right, I got a quick break. We'll come back. I want to tell you about my Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame voting process. You may not care about how I spent my weekend, but I spent yesterday at the LSU basketball practice facility where the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame voting committee got together. I got to be a proxy voter, and I want to tell you how that went. So we'll do that next. It's AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by the Watermark Hotel and the Renaissance Hotel, two amazing hotel properties, Watermark downtown, Renaissance Southtown. Hey, y'all, we are, 3 weeks away from less than 3 weeks away from the first LSU home game. Of course, you know where the Tigers stay on Friday nights before every LSU game. Well, it's the Renaissance Hotel. And so I always say no matter your event from 12 people to 500 people or what you're trying to do at the Renaissance, they're in the business of saying, yes, they can host your event. If the Renaissance can manipulate their beautiful, sprawling, spacious hotel to accommodate the entire LSU football program, coaches, players, support staff, all of it, team meals, prayer services, individual position group meetings, all of it, they can host your event as well, whatever your event is. So if you have an event coming up, where are you going to have it? You're going to have it at the Renaissance Hotel. Call Allison Crump today over at the Renaissance Hotel.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
When it comes to ending cancer, we push forward, always working together for you. That's why our cancer experts at Oshner have clinically integrated with MD Anderson Cancer Center. This means advanced cancer care, including access to life-saving clinical trials and integrating care to treat the whole you. Introducing Oshner MD Anderson Cancer Center. Long live you.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows, windows, doors, siding. Oh yeah, they also do interior shutters.
Rev delivers our coverage live from Las Vegas starting Friday, August 30th with Off the Bench, and after further review and continuing Sunday, September 1st with Eagle 98.1 Game Day. Our coverage is also presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Watch us live on the 104.5 ESPN YouTube channel. Kick off the 2024 LSU football season live from Las Vegas with Rev 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
I forgot. I'll just listen to some Living Dead Girl. No worries. Crank it up, Alondra! That's what happens when Alondra's here. I get to go back to my it's Matt on Rock 93.7 days. Early Matt Moscona radio days.
The good old days. The hair days.
Well, they were the hair days. Yes, they were the hair days. I don't know that I would say they're the good old days. They're just the old days for me personally in radio, circa 03, 04-ish. What year was this song? You have it up? What year was this?
I don't have it up.
It had to be right in that era.
Let's see.
See if you can find it. That's Rob Zombie, Living Dead Girl is the name of the song. I definitely spun that a time or two.
98.
Ooh, 98. We were definitely playing it in 03. All right. How about that? 98. 98? Look at Alondra. Back to the 90s, Alondra. Huh?
That was the year I was born.
Oh, God. There every now and again, like I know this intellectually. I'm not an old person. I'm 42. 42 is not old, right? It's not old.
Not.
However, things like that happen. I think everyone who's my age or older can relate to this in some level. So like you're in the car nodding your head. Like what's starting to happen to me now is I'm having these moments like this where I realize that things have happened a long time ago. Like you start getting this relation to time where I think of 1998 and I was a junior in high school and I can remember a lot of things very vividly. 1998 LSU football season stunk. We had season tickets. They won 4 games. It was really bad. Kentucky came in here and Tim Couch and beat LSU on a last-second field goal. That was Georgia-LSU, the Quincy Carter game. 28-27 was the final. Quincy was a freshman that year. LSU didn't get a stop the entire first half. I don't think either team got a stop the entire first half. Anyway, all that to say, like I remember these things very well, but then you say that out and you're like, oh, that was 26 years ago.
Yeah.
I'm like,
that feels like a long time ago.
Wait, but no, it doesn't feel like a long time. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
These things don't feel.
When you
but
say
when you
it out
say
loud,
26 years, it's like God, 26 years passed.
Yeah.
Like, am I going to blink and then I'm going to be 66?
Probably.
Yeah, that's weird.
That's exactly what's going to happen.
Or 68. I don't math at all. I'm so bad at math. Why am I so bad at math? Mental math.
I'm terrible at math.
Mental math actually scares me. Like in that moment, I had to do 42 plus 26, and I was like, I kind of paused, and I still came up 2 years short. Like when I took the ACT. Nobody cares about this, but I'm just going to finish this thought. So it was like English reading comprehension. I was off the charts. I was like in the 30s. Science and math, I was like 12.
I started crying taking the ACT during the math part because I didn't understand any of it.
So bad.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right. Glad to have you aboard with us here. If you're watching on YouTube, do us a favor. Please smash that like button. Thanks to everyone listening wherever you are. KLRZ 100.3 ESPN New Orleans. Our affiliates Lafayette, Alexandria, Lake Charles. We're so grateful that everybody's here. Our TV partners on WBTR. We're very grateful however you're with us today. I got to do a cool thing yesterday. I got to be a proxy voter for the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame election committee. And so there are 42 voters. And, of course, everyone's familiar with the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame. And the Hall of Fame, the physical building, is in Natchitoches. And the induction ceremony is in the summer. And I first went... this would have been in 2020 or 2021. I think it might have been 2021. Because Ronnie Rance, who was not yet the president of the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame, but was putting together the television broadcast on CST, Cox Sports Television, for the Hall of Fame. And they had a purple carpet show. So when all the dignitaries came, it was just like, it was a purple carpet. They walked in, you walk behind the step and repeat, you do an interview, and Lynn Rollins and I did that job. And the only reason that I was there was because our friend Carly had passed, and she had done that show for years with Lynn. And because she wasn't here, Ronnie asked me to pinch hit, so I did. It was the only year I did it. But I went to the Hall of Fame, and that was my first time ever going to the Hall of Fame in Natchitoches. And it was awesome. Like, I would so highly recommend to anybody, take a day trip, or spend the night in Natchitoches. That area downtown Natchitoches right there on the river is beautiful. Like, restaurants and shops, walkable restaurants and shops and bars. And the Hall of Fame is awesome to go see. There's a beautiful hotel directly across the street from the Hall of Fame where you could stay. Anyway, just a cosign, just an endorsement for them. I think I was blown away. And so since then, I've gotten more and more interested in the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame. And of course, Ronnie Rance is now the president. Ronnie and I are friends. And so I've had the opportunity to have Hall of Famers on the show. As a matter of fact, when Eli Manning got inducted a couple of years ago, Ronnie asked, would we be interested in having all the Hall of Famers on the show when they got inducted? And so I was like, of course. And so we did an interview with Eli, and we submitted that interview for Louisiana Association of Broadcasters Best Interview. It won the Best Interview category for the entire year in the Louisiana Association of Broadcasters, all because of an affiliation with the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame. Anyway, so my buddy Ray Parch, RP3 from our affiliate ESPN 137 in Lafayette, great dude, he's the president of that Hall of Fame voting committee, reached out to me on Friday and asked me if I would be interested in being a proxy voter, because if permanent committee members can't be there, they have to get proxy voters. So I was invited to be a proxy. There were 3 proxy voters. It was me, it was Andrew Lopez, who drove in from San Antonio to be a proxy voter for this, and then Rachel Goff as well. It was the 3 of us who were the proxies with the regular selection committee members. It was a fascinating process, and I think the biggest takeaway, and I can't share with you the vote, we're all that's embargoed until they release it, and I wouldn't dare spoil anybody's moment. But I think the most fascinating thing to me throughout that process was how difficult it is because of how many worthy people there are. Like, Josh Reed, for example, is not in the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame, which to me is mind-blowing. He was a Blitnikoff Award winner. He's from Rain High School. He was magnificent at LSU, was drafted in the 2nd round by the Buffalo Bills, played 7-8 seasons in the NFL, had some injury issues, but still, it's hard to fathom. And just when you think about just football players, like Marcus Spears is not in the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame, which is mind-blowing to me. Michael Clayton, that whole era, there's so many players that are completely worthy, in my eye anyway. And then you start to think about all the sports in all the different parts of the state. Like, one of the very cool things about the representation on this committee is it's built to where, like Robin Fambrough, if you don't know, Robin works for The Advocate as forever. She covers prep. Well, she is sort of like the authority on high school sports. So when Robin speaks about someone with respect to high school, everyone in the room listens because you realize, okay, there are people in the room who've spent their entire career saying covering Louisiana Tech or covering the River region or or New Orleans, and maybe it's covering Senlaw or whatever it may be. There's so many different people represented, and you realize they're worthy people. Like, I can't go into detail about some of the people we consider, but there's an old timers category where of the 8 electees, 2 have to meet the quote unquote old timer category, and you go through this process and you realize, man, it's amazing because this person stopped competing 50 years before the Hall of Fame came into existence and would have been lost to time, but now they have a way to be honored and considered. So that part of it was really cool. Whenever the class is announced, you'll see it, and I don't know what the reaction will be to it. I mean, I guess everyone will react the way they do, but I left the room feeling immensely satisfied with the people that are going to be honored, and also very encouraged about people in the future that I hope, if I'm ever invited to be like a full-time member, that I would get a chance to vote for, because I think there's so many people that are worthy of that honor, and that Hall of Fame allows them to continue to honor people of many different generations. And they also do a great job not only of honoring sort of the old timer category, but there's a current 5-year window where every year there's a mandate that someone with high school ties has to go into the Hall of Fame to make sure that there doesn't become a backlog of that, because it would be so easy just to say, all right, put in 8 former LSU football greats. So you could do it every year and never run out of great players to put in. So and there was a mandate that a female be elected, which, well, I mean, it's not a problem. That, of course, isn't a problem. I mean, there's such an incredible list. Like Simone Augustus went in last year. Obviously, Simone Augustus comes on the ballot. She's going to the Hall of Fame, right? So there's always going to be that component as well. But it's just making sure there's a lot of representation, which I thought was so interesting. Anyway, I just wanted to share that because I think there's a lot of people who maybe are only aware of the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame whenever the induction ceremony comes around or when the electees are announced. And I had an opportunity to go be part of the process and want to share it because that's something I think our state should be really proud of. And the other thing I would tell you is if nothing else, take this advice. If there's someone who you think is worthy, nominate them. You would be stunned at the number of very worthy people who have never come up on the ballot because no one has ever nominated them. So you can go to the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame website and nominate someone, and then they go through an initial round of voting to see if they make it to the ballot that's considered as the committee votes. So if you think there's someone, that would be my one sort of push action item, is if you think there's someone who's not currently in the Hall of Fame, that is the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame, that you think is worthy, you need to nominate them. Like, very candidly, I nominated Ryan Terrio 4 years ago. Now he still hasn't gotten in, and I hope one day he does. But he would have never, well, I shouldn't say he would have never come up on the ballot, but somebody, in this case it was me, had to nominate him for that. So if there's someone you think is worthy, go to the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame website and nominate someone. It's a very easy process to do. But maybe that's the thing that I would tell you that's most important. Anyway, I just thought you might be interested in that. If you weren't and I bored you, I sincerely apologize. But I found that fascinating, and it was a rare sort of peek behind the curtain to that process for me that I was glad to be able to share with you all. So, and I'll look forward to when this new class is announced and then inducted. Hopefully I'll get to be in Natchitoches for it. Okay, you know how hard it was to make sure I didn't say any of their names? I
feel like I accidentally would have let one slip.
Oh my gosh. I mean, I am sitting here clenched like this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When I say clenched?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Just to make sure I didn't slip and say somebody's name.
Yeah.
Whew. I mean, you want to talk about never being invited back. Woo! All right. It's after further review. We'll do Tigers and the Pros next. Stick around.
AFR.
Brought to you by Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. Rouse's.com, Rouse's.com. Hey, you heading home from work right now? You want to pick up dinner for the fam? Rouse's is a great place to do it. Look, Rouse's has been helping you make groceries for 60 years, whatever it is now. And they're amazing with 70 locations from Lake Charles to Orange Beach, points in between. The truckload sale going on right now. So if you're buying on a budget, of course, Rouse's is great for that as well. But they got so many great hot prepared food items. So you walk into Rouse's, any location, you walk into Rouse's, and you go to the left. You go to the left, and you see all the prepared food. You'll see the hot and boiled kiosk if you want some seafood. They got the grab-and-go Asian dishes, like if you want some lo mein or some, I love their chicken fried rice. It's incredible if you want to check it out. The teriyaki, the stir-fried teriyaki is great as well. If you want some fried seafood, they got that. You want to buy some fish to throw on the grill, something from the butcher, they got it. One place, y'all. It's Rouse's. This feels like home.
It's an everyday thing here. We work horses in the mornings and we work on the property during the day, and without these John Deere tractors, it'd almost be impossible to keep up with the place. I've dealt with some of the other colors and stuff, and I never really got the response back that I get from John Deere, We really enjoy dealing with Sunshine. They're good people. They always check on us and make sure our equipment's running, and we love them. Flip the switch and learn more about what it means to be powered by Sunshine at sunequip.com.
Back to school savings at Bayou Ford. $12,000 off F-150, $12,000 off the new 2024 Ford F-150, and $10,000 off Expedition. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a complimentary extended warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs, even in the case of an after-hours emergency. The light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
There's nothing chill about a hot, sweaty line. Unless you add Mountain Cold.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Oh yeah, they also do interior shutters.
All right, let's move quickly here. Wrapping up hour number 2. Our Monday shows are brought to you by Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. Alondra has Tigers in the pros.
Tigers in the pros. They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now.
All right, I'm going to hit on the bigger stories. To absolutely nobody's surprise, the Commanders have named officially named Jaden Daniels their starting quarterback. Like I said, absolutely no surprise to anybody, but it's officially official. Also, OBJ with the Dolphins now. He's unable to perform list since the start of training camp, and Mike McDaniel says he's not going to be practicing this week either. We don't know what the injury is. It hasn't been disclosed, but McDaniel says that both sides are doing everything right. The objective is to get and stay healthy. So what he's saying is he wants OBJ to be at his best when they need him to be at his best, so they're not rushing the process there. I got one more quick one. Poor Malik Neighbors.
Oh, no.
Out there working with Daniel Jones, 5 carries for 59 yards. It's gonna be a season for Malik.
5 carries, 59?
So one rushing one, 4 receiving ones. 5 yards was the rushing one.
5 yards.
Yeah.
Okay, so he had four catches.
4 catches, but
Okay.
they had it down as that way.
Okay.
But yes, I just put both of them together to make it a little more concise.
Okay.
But it ended up being more confusing than I wanted it to be. That's
Yeah.
Tigers in the Pros.
You could say touches.
Yeah.
5 touches.
Yeah.
He gave her 5 yards. All right, put a button here on hour number 2. When we come back, Brian Kelly met with reporters after practice on Saturday, where he sees the team is most improved. That's next, AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by Supper Club. It's Monday. They're closed. Closed Sunday, Monday. Closed Sunday, Monday. But they'll reopen on Tuesday. And I want to remind y'all, this is so important, y'all. Football season is right around the bend. And everybody knows Friday before home games at LSU are massive. People go out, they celebrate, and there's no better place to go celebrate the night before a game than Supper Club. But I am telling you, they book solid. Get your reservation now. If you're thinking, hey, UCLA is going to be a big game, or Ole Miss coming to town, Alabama weekend, get your reservation at Supper Club for the Friday before LSU games now. Do it now. Don't wait. You can go to the website, supperclubbtr.com, supperclubbtr.com. If you have family coming in, you want to go out for one big night with your friends before a home game, whatever it may be, pick that game or games and get your reservations for Fridays before football games now. supperclubbtr.com.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
It's an everyday thing here. We work horses in the mornings and we work on the property during the day, and without these John Deere tractors, it'd almost be impossible to keep up with the place. I've dealt with some of the other colors and stuff, and I never really got the response back that I get from John Deere, We really enjoy dealing with Sunshine. They're good people. They always check on us and make sure our equipment's running, and we love them. Flip the switch and learn more about what it means to be powered by Sunshine at sunequip.com.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
The best kept secret in town is out. Discover Tallulah at the Renaissance Hotel on Bluebonnet.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. The Commanders officially named Jaden Daniels their starting quarterback as expected. The second overall pick in this year's NFL draft has worked with the first team exclusively at training camp and started the first 2 preseason games. Former Dolphins coach Brian Flores called out by Miami quarterback Tua Tagovailoa on the Dan Le Batard show. He described Flores as a coach who told him daily he wasn't good, didn't deserve to be there, compared to current coach Mike McDaniel, who Tua has said has constantly supported him and shown his belief in him, and that's helped Tagovailoa flourish, according to ESPN's Damian Woody.
Mike McDaniel literally breathed life, football life into Tua, because no one questioned his talent. I mean, this dude was a top 5 pick in the draft, but he just needed that confidence, and that's what Mike McDaniel brought to the Miami Dolphins and Tua Tagovailoa.
Damian Woody on Carlin versus Joe. Falcons rookie quarterback Michael Penix Jr. will not play in Friday's preseason finale. Braves third baseman Austin Riley expected to miss 6 to 8 weeks with a fractured hand.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Progressive makes bundling easy and affordable. Get a multi-policy discount by combining your car, home, motorcycle, commercial auto, and more. All your protection in one place. Bundle and save at Progressive.com.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge Studios.
That's right.
Hour 3, off we get. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by Relief Windows. I'm Matt.
Love you, Matt.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Alondra Villarreal. And Mr. Toby Tomblay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. 5 o'clock quitting time. Glad you are driving home with us. Got some updated NFL power rankings and what exactly is Taysom Hill's role going to be this year? Coaches talked about that. Taysom talked about it after we saw him dotting the I as the tailback on Sunday night. Pretty good look, too. We'll get to that here in about 15 minutes from right now. Remember, you can always email us, tweet us, text us in the 225-396-4400, 396-4400. 396-4400. Glad to have you aboard with us here. And just one quick piggyback note on our Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame conversation from last hour. Jordan Lennox texted the show and said, hey, is Joe McKnight a Louisiana Sports Hall of Famer? And I don't know the answer to that. I really don't know if he's in, but that I'm glad it's stimulating the conversation we had, is maybe stimulating some of that thought to maybe say, look, go look at someone who you think's worthy and nominate him to get in. It was a really cool process that I got to participate in on Sunday. Okay. On Saturday, I spent my morning out on the Ponderosa, LSU's practice field, the McClendon practice facility. Tigers worked out for 45 minutes indoors, then went outdoors for about an hour and a half. Hottest day of practice, but I'll never complain about it. I'm very grateful for the access. After which, Brian Kelly met with reporters. And always candid, and we appreciate that very much. I got the second to last question of the press conference. And I asked Brian Kelly a very open-ended question. I want to take his answer in pieces because he ended up giving like a 2.5-minute answer to this question, which is awesome. But I left the question intentionally open-ended because a lot of times when you ask a question, I mean, one of the big no-nos in a press conference is you never ask a yes or no. And you want to avoid a leading question whereby the way you ask the question is leading your interviewee to an answer. Like, How important is it? Fill in. Well, now you're telling him it's important, but what's the scale? Or how impressed were you with? Well, what if he wasn't impressed? You know what I mean? Like, it's important to ask more open-ended questions. So I try to do that here. And I asked Brian Kelly, the way I phrased it was, if you go back to day one of camp, was there a position or a player where you maybe had some trepidation about where you were coming into camp that you feel much better about today, 3 weeks in? And he ended up giving a really long answer talking about both the defensive side and the offensive side of the ball. But I say this often, it is always interesting to me that when you ask an open-ended question, where that person's brain immediately goes. Because that is your answer. Because it could have been any number of things. But the first thing they say is, they're telling you, I didn't lead him anywhere. It's where did his brain go? Well, this is where Brian Kelly's brain immediately went when I said, where have you essentially most improved from day one to now?
You know, I like the way our corners have held up on the outside. You know, I think, you know, anytime you go into a year, you want to make sure you eliminate big plays. And one of the things that we all lived through last year was too many big plays on the defensive side of the ball. We've eliminated those big chunk plays, and that was job one.
He's not wrong from the perspective of what we've been able to see. What they have been able to do is prevent the 16-yard catch from becoming the 60-yard catch. Like what happened last year in the opener with Keon Coleman. Pass over the middle, two defensive backs run into each other, Coleman's gone. Like, that's what they've been able to prevent. And they've largely been able to prevent that because you don't see coverage busts. And they've been able to eliminate the coverage busts, the big chunk plays, by simplifying. It's very obvious. They have gone to a very elementary approach in the secondary. But in so doing, they've eliminated the big plays. I'll give up the 16-yard reception over the middle. What you can't stomach is the 16-yard reception when the safety's in the wrong spot and then it's a house call. They've eliminated that. A year ago, LSU was 118th in America in pass defense. It almost makes you throw up a little in your mouth when you see it. When you think about the legacy that LSU has in the secondary, and you don't need me to rattle off all the names, you know them all. It is wholly unacceptable to look at a ranking where LSU is sandwiched between Houston and Liberty in pass defense. You were 118th in America at 255 yards a game. They're going to fix that. I'm not telling you they're going to be great. I'm not telling you they're going into the top 20. I'm not telling you it's the 2011 defense where you got Mo Claiborne and Tyrann Mathieu and Eric Reed and Brandon Taylor. I'm not telling you it's that. I'm not telling you it's Stingley and Fulton and Delpit. I'm not telling you that. What I'm telling you is they're going to be better than they were a year ago. How much better, I don't know, but it's going to be a lot better than they were a year ago. And Brian Kelly's telling you there as well. They've worked to eliminate the chunk play, and they've worked very hard on that in camp, and it's obvious. He continued, though, talking about the defense.
I think for me, as we continue to progress, we have to clearly, find ourselves, defensively, what we're going to look like, up front. We're still kind of moving guys around inside, but we've got 5 guys that we're rotating in. I think our edge is going to be pretty good. I mean, I like what we're doing on the edge. But you saw what we saw today. I mean, our pass rush is going to be, manufactured. It's not going to be just 4 down, pin your ears back. I mean, it's going to be nickels and safeties and linebackers and different guys coming from different pressures, and that's what Blake does. So I think I got a better sense of that, where the pressures are coming from. Our corners can hold up on the outside. If that continues to be the case, I feel pretty good about that.
3 things he mentioned there that are worth touching on. Number 1, he said, we're going to be pretty good on the edge, and I agree with him. We've talked about that's a spot where I don't think they're just good by comparison of what they were. I think they're good. Savion Jones is 6'6", 285 and looks really good. Got a one-on-one win against Emory Jones this weekend. Braden Swinson got a one-on-one win against Will Campbell. Look, he ain't going to beat Will Campbell often, but you also ain't going to see a guy like Will Campbell every week because he's the best one in the country. And then after that, Deshaun Womack had a great TFL. He's really good. The freshmen you have coming in with Kalaj Cobbins and Gabe Relaford, y'all, I'm telling you, you think Montgomery Mingo, like that's Relaford and Cobbins. That's what they're going to be in 2-3 years. Like they could give you pass rush reps this year as freshmen. They're that good. Parrish Shand is a versatile guy inside. Now, I agree with Brian Kelly. They're good. There's no All-American there right now, but they're good. They're good SEC football players at defensive end. You heard him say they're going to rotate 5 guys on the inside. That interests me because I can tell you who the first 2 are. I can tell you the first 3 are unequivocally. It's Jacobian Guillory, who's your best guy, Gio Paez, who's been starting alongside Guillory since the first day, and Jalen Lee, because when either one of those guys are out, Lee's the one that goes in. Those are your first 3. Not even a question. Those are your first 3. And then after that, you go, okay, I'm pretty sure Sean Washington is next. Those are your first 4, and then it's Kimo Makanaioli and Dom McKinley are 5 and 6. So I don't know if they're looking at Kimo or Dom as the next guy to rotate in, but it's one of those two who right now is the one they're looking at as the 5th. And if I had to guess, it's probably Dom McKinley because the physical ability is incredible. Kimo doesn't necessarily have the size or the ability as a defensive lineman because it's brand new to him. So I'd probably guess Dom McKinley is your 5th because the more reps he gets, you're going to see him just get better and better and better and better as he goes along through his freshman season. And then the third thing BK mentioned there, after the edge being good, the 5 guys on the interior, he talked about fabricating a pass rush.
And then from an offensive standpoint.
He talked about fabricating a pass rush. And if you were here for the practice report I gave you, if you didn't, you can go check it out on demand. 11 on 11. 4 plays, the offense goes from the 30, their own 30, to the plus 31. 4 plays, boom, 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 boom. And then here they come on a safety blitz. Kylan Jackson, by the way, running with the ones. Flushes Nussmeier. He's backpedaling, tries to throw the ball out of bounds, doesn't get it far enough. P.J. Woodland drifts to the sideline, makes the interception, drags a foot. You fabricated your pass rush with a safety blitz. You may not have Arden Key get you double-digit sacks, winning one-on-ones. In that same drill, 11 on 11, we saw Javen Toviano in for Major Burns at the Star, come on a star blitz and generate pressure. We've seen it from Harold Perkins, which we know will be there. They're going to get creative with the way they fabricate a rush, and it's just going to be different what Blake Baker's doing, but it looks good. So, yeah, I mean, Brian Kelly checked a lot of boxes there at basically every level of the defense with the way that he's seen them improve, which tells you coming into camp, he didn't know how good they were going to be on defense. And 3 weeks in, he's got to put his head on his pillow and feeling better than he did the day they walked out on the practice field for the first practice. All right, it's after further review. He also talked about where he's seen them improve offensively. I'm going to get to that next. We're brought to you by Evermore. Of course, I always have my Evermore with me. Look, every time we go out to watch LSU practice, Saturday it was brutally hot. Of course, brought a big bottle of Evermore. I encourage you every day, find Evermore, drink it. Go read the reviews. There's no like scientific testing, so I'm not telling you something like that's medically proven, but go read people's experiences. They'll tell you people who deal with acid reflux, their reflux goes away when they drink Evermore because you're drinking a natural product. You can learn more about it. You can read all about it. Order it online at evermore.com. EVAMOR, EVAMOR, evermore.com. Listen, Dak Prescott's a national endorser. Cloth and Nuss, the Olympic volleyball players, they're endorsers of Evermore as well. If it's good for the Cowboys quarterback, if it's good for Olympic athletes, it's good enough for you and me. It's a healthier option for you and your family. It's Evermore. It is natural artesian water. And it's a Louisiana product. Evermore.com, evermore.com. Okay, quick break. We'll come back. I'll pick up with BK talking about, I intended to get all that in one segment. I went a little long. My apologies. So when we come back, I'll finish with BK. I do want to talk about the updated NFL power rankings and how the Saints continue to evolve, how they're using Taysom Hill. So we're going to delve into all that. Glad you're here. It's AFR.
AFR.
Man, on Friday, I had the great opportunity to go see my friends at Duplessis Builders, their new showroom on, coincidentally, Duplessis Lane in Gonzales. If you're going down Airline Highway, you can't miss it. It's right next to the Rouse's. Big, beautiful red sign. If you're going south on Airline, it's on the right next to the Rouse's. Hey, look, go into the Duplessis showroom. If you're thinking about building that pool, that outdoor kitchen, the pool and hot tub spa, you can do it there. And the great thing is, they'll help you build it there. And so it's not them just coming up with a plan and presenting it to you. They want to hold your hand and walk you through that process of you picking the features and the designs and the colors and the stone. And they have them all there on display for you to see. And they got a pretty big putting green right in the middle as well, so you can go sink some putts like your boy did. Go check me out on any of my social medias. I have it linked. Of course, I made it. You know I'm going to post it. It's duplessisbuilders.net. Check them out, duplessisbuilders.net.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has back-to-school savings like $16,000 off 25 Ram 1500 trucks. We're open for business in our beautiful new showroom and taking $16,000 off. All new Bayou vehicles come with a complimentary extended warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
It's an everyday thing here. We work horses in the mornings and we work on the property during the day, and without these John Deere tractors, it'd almost be impossible to keep up with the place. I've dealt with some of the other colors and stuff, and I never really got the response back that I get from John Deere, We really enjoy dealing with Sunshine. They're good people. They always check on us and make sure our equipment's running, and we love them. Flip the switch and learn more about what it means to be powered by Sunshine at sunequip.com.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared towards seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
When it comes to ending cancer, we push forward, always working together for you. That's why our cancer experts at Ochsner have clinically integrated with MD Anderson Cancer Center. This means advanced cancer care, including access to life-saving clinical trials and integrating care to treat the whole you.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Oh yeah, they also do interior shutters.
.1045 ESPN and Citizens Bank and Trust are looking for the ultimate tailgate. Snap a pic of your setup and upload it to 1045ESPN.com for a chance to win a $500 Rouse's gift card. Our judges will select a winner on August 29th. It's the ultimate tailgate giveaway from Rouse's Market, Citizens Bank and Trust, and 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Smashing Pumpkins?
Yeah, Smashing Pumpkins.
Ooh, crank that up, Alondra.
So
You're
good.
hired. Are you going to see them in Arlington?
No.
Why not?
I have no PTO left. And it's on a Thursday or something like that.
So last year.
And I love them so much, and I'm so upset.
I think I'm going to go. Don't let it go. Don't let that go.
Okay.
Little louder. Louder.
It's so good.
Last year, Paulie's going to remember this. GNR played in Guns N' Roses played in Houston.
With Alice in Chains?
Yes. Yeah. So my buddy, who's like best man at my wedding, lives in Austin, and giant Guns N' Roses fan. So that was a Thursday as well. I took the day off. He drove down from Austin. I drove up from Baton Rouge. We went, sat on the floor, like fifth row, awesome night. I woke up butt crack of dawn to drive back here for Football Friday. One of the worst decisions I've ever made in my life.
Yeah.
I was drinking whiskey the whole Guns N' Roses concert. Michelle Southern of Eagle 98.1 and her husband Daniel were there, and they were inviting me, like, you want to go out? I'm like, that's a terrible idea.
I want to, though.
I went to bed like at 1, and we did our interview with Phil Steele. As I had to get back to do the interview with Phil, because the window he was available was early. And I told Phil, I was like, Phil, I'm struggling right now. Like, this is going to be I just need you to pick me up here, dog. So anyway, all that to say, I'm going to go to Smashing Pumpkins in Arlington. Like, I'm going to fly up there. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to tell Ski, come up from Austin to Arlington.
Yeah.
I'll fly into Dallas. Easy. It's like a 45-minute flight from Baton Rouge. So easy. And I'm going to go to that show, but I am not working on Friday.
I did that one time, too.
I think it's September 11th, isn't it?
It is September 11th, yeah. So it's like a Wednesday or a Thursday.
I think that's before the Nichols game.
Yeah. If I'm remembering correctly, yes.
So I may not be here on the Football Friday, the Nichols game.
Yeah.
Because I am not doing a show that day.
And Green Day.
Yeah,
like, come on.
It's Smashing Pumpkins and Green Day. Of course I'm going to that. Anyway.
You should let me go.
I don't care if you go. Go.
Okay, but I won't be here the next Friday.
I can't tell you what to do.
Well, I'm just saying, like, I'm not going to...
Take a day off.
There won't be an OTB producer.
They'll figure it out. Take a day off. I mean, it's why you got time off. Take a day off. All right. It's after further review. We're glad you're hanging out with us here. Alondra's in for Musa, who's sick today. Hopefully Moose is back tomorrow, but really I'll check in on him after the show. We'll see if he's back tomorrow. Thanks for being here. If you're watching on YouTube, do us a solid, smash that like button. Thanks wherever you might be listening or watching. We appreciate you. So I am going to get to the Saints here in a smidge about Taysom Hill and what they had to say after the game. But LSU practiced on Saturday. Afterwards, Brian Kelly did his press conference. I happened to ask him a pretty open-ended question about from day one when they started camp, where did he maybe have some reservations that at this point now, 3 weeks in, that he feels better, where they improved. And he gave me a 2.5-minute answer. And when he got to the offense, it was interesting because the bulk of the answer, like a minute and a half, minute 45 of the answer was about the defense. He wasn't quite as long-winded about the offense because they just don't quite honestly have as many questions there. But here's what he said about the offense.
And then from an offensive standpoint, just, clean up a little bit of the execution. And then kind of let's begin this next week focusing on what we do well. I think the last few days have been, we've been painting with a broad brush. I mean, we're trying to do everything, We need to just focus on what we're going to do, and that is run the ball, take some shots, get the ball out quickly to our playmakers, and move to the next play.
That is the second time now I've heard Brian Kelly allude to that. We need to do what we do well. What's the first thing he said? We're going to run the ball, we're going to take some shots, and get the ball to our playmakers. First thing he said, we're going to run the ball. I don't want to give any of you some like PTSD flashbacks to the Les Miles era. I'm not suggesting that LSU is going to go too tight, full back, 3 yards in the cloud of dust. Like those days, I can never foresee coming back. But do you remember when they started fall camp and Brian Kelly was asked about the running backs? Talked about it here. And the comment he made about Josh Williams was, we're not going to give Josh a lot of reps. I'm paraphrasing. We're not going to give Josh a lot of reps. We know what he could do. We just got to get him to Saturday. meaning they just got to get him to Saturdays healthy. So they're not going to use him very much in fall camp because they got to keep him healthy for Saturdays. This is my theory. And I don't know. We're all gonna see it together. I mean, I've gotten to go watch practice, but you heard Brian say it there. We're trying to do everything. We need to pare down what we do well. And he started with run the ball. Because I know this undeniable truth. You poll 100 LSU fans today and ask them what is the strength of this LSU team. Going into the season, poll 100 LSU fans. If I asked you, Alondra, Paul, what is the strength, the unquestioned strength of this LSU, the best position group on this team, what would you say?
O-line.
Paulie, what would you say?
Offensive line.
It's what literally every one of us would say. It has been hammered into our brain, and justifiably. Will Campbell and Emory Jones are in everybody's first-round mock drafts. Garrett Delling is a 4-year starter. Miles Frazier's a 5th-year player, has been a 4-year starter. Yes, he was a former freshman All-American. You got a really talented young center now coming in DJ Chester, who they're very high on. It is the unquestioned best unit on your team, period, paragraph, no discussion. So use them. And you heard Brian Kelly say, well, they've eliminated the chunk plays on defense. Defense is getting better, but I still don't know that they're going to be great. You want to know one way to protect your defense? Run the ball. Keep the ball away from their offense. Listen, LSU last year, this may surprise you, but a year ago, LSU was almost a 50-50 balance offensively. I mean, they were so magnificent throwing the football. I mean, you had 2 1,000-yard receivers. Jaden Daniels had 40 touchdown passes and 4 interceptions. They were ungodly. But they threw it 411 times on the season, and they ran it 430. They ran 841. How about that math? They ran 841 offensive plays. And it was almost a dead 50-50. 430 rushing, 411 passing. It's incredible. But so much of that was Jaden Daniels improvising and Jaden Daniels design runs. He carried it 150 times last year. Jaden Daniels did. 135, excuse me. Let me be completely accurate. He carried it 135 times. So you had this giant big play ability, which allowed you to score quickly. So even though you ran the ball, you'd have Jaden Daniels bob and weave his way through Florida for 85 yards. And just like that, your defense is right back on the field. Well, how do you want to protect your defense? Run the ball behind that awesome offensive line with a 6-year running back that you know can shoulder the burden, a young bulldozer in Caleb Jackson, a veteran piece in John Emery, a freshman in Caden Durham who probably needs to come along. But you know if that's your approach, you better keep 27 healthy. That's what Brian Kelly's telling you. So we got to focus on what we do well. And the first thing out of his mouth was run the ball. Run the ball, take your shots. Because when you're running the ball, they're going to creep closer to the line. You'll have opportunities in play action with your big receivers and get the ball to your playmakers, which they do plenty of. Goal line situation last week, we saw a jet sweep for a touchdown to Xavion Thomas. They ran a counter motion with a throwback to Xavion Thomas. We've seen Aaron Anderson come on jet sweeps. We've seen them run real creative plays where they went power, where they faked the power with Mason Taylor and had Kamorian Pimpton open in the end zone. They're going to get creative. I have no doubt about that. They'll be creative. But I think they are going to try to run the ball, possess the ball, control the clock, control the game, and protect their defense. It's not to say they're not going to take shots and be high-powered and score, but if you can limit your opponents by 10 offensive snaps a game from what you did a year ago, well, all those averages are going to come down. Your defense is on the field less. Use that as a strength. I think that's what Brian Kelly was saying right there. It's going to be fun to watch. By the way, I also asked BK about USC preparation because, of course, next week you're into game week. This is the final week of fall camp. But they done kicked us out, right? We get to go Wednesday for a little bit. Monday, Tuesday, we don't get to go. We get a little bit on Wednesday. We don't get to go Thursday, Friday, and then they scrimmage Saturday in Tiger Stadium. We're supposed to be able to see that, but they done kicked us out. We missed Thursday, Friday of last week. I mean, that means 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 of 8 practices we didn't get to go after getting to go darn near every day. So, yeah, they're starting to get game planned and things prepped like that, the things they don't want us to see. And so I asked Brian Kelly, when they started this was Saturday. I asked him, when are you going to start prep for USC?
Yeah, we'll start Tuesday. We'll begin exchanging teams to give us a look at USC on Tuesday and kind of duplicate 2 weeks in a row of a game week preparation. So we'll go Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday into a kind of a game bench control situation next week and then do it again. So, kind of back-to-back weeks, if you will. So if you think of it, next week is kind of the off week that you would normally have, your bye week, where you would do a little work on your opponent and then leading into the game week.
Really smart approach. They'll use this week effectively as like an open date week, and then next week they start really ramping up for USC, but they will start USC this week on Tuesday. All right, it's After Further Review brought to you by the Williamson Eye Center, 924-2020, 924-2020, 924-2020. If you want to see 2020, it's easy. You call 924-2020. They're just the best. I love this. They got a cool video up right now. It's the perspective of a wife who said things my husband can see since LASIK. It's things like the trash and dirty dishes and all things around the all things around the house. But the bottom line is, if you want to see 2020, if you want to ditch the contacts and glasses forever, the Williamson Eye Center can make it help. Call 924-2020, 924-2020, and book that consultation. You may be thinking, Matt, I don't know if I can afford LASIK. I'm telling you, as technology's improved, costs have come down, and Dr. Blake Williamson always says he never wants price to be a barrier for people who want to change their life. So it's worth going for that consultation. Just go sit down and have that consultation with Dr. Blake Williamson at the Williamson Eye Center. 924-2020, 924-2020, or williamsoneye.com. All right, been a great show, man. We appreciate y'all for hanging out with us here. You miss anything, AFR On Demand presented by Brett Golf. We've got, of course, the AFR YouTube channels if you want to check those out. Podcast, your favorite podcast app, just search After Further Review. And, of course, I'll remind you, our site is live, louisianasports.net. Unique written content every day. Saints, LSU, SEC, and we will continue to expand our coverage eventually to include recruiting and the Pelicans every day and state schools and prep. We'll get there. But we launched with our two pillars that mattered most, which were LSU and the Saints, and we're going to hammer some great content. And we're really proud of our crew. We launched over the weekend, and it was a great weekend for us to get our processes down. And Ross Jackson, did incredible work. If you go check out the website at louisianasports.net, Ross gave us a game preview for the Saints. In-game, ended up writing 4 or 5 different stories during the game, and then as well his gamer after the game, his takeaways. So it's all there. It's all free. It will always be free as long as I'm involved. There will be no paywalls, no subscriptions, no freemium, not some free, some pay. No. I believe we will build louisianasports.net in the same way, and our management's on this is my decision. But our management's on board with it because it's the same thing we did here with 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge, which was to say, let's produce great content. Let's give it away for free. Let's create great loyalty with our audience and our consumer, our listener, our viewer, our reader. And let's have great businesses that partner with us and sponsor what we do, and then have our audience in turn patronize those sponsors because they appreciate the work we do. So it's louisianasports.net. It's free. Go check it out. Louisianasports.net. Bookmark it. And I would love your feedback as well, sincerely. We were actually live on Thursday, but we didn't announce till Saturday. But we're just a few days into this. So as we move along, I need feedback. Want to know your thoughts on it and ways you think we can improve, because the whole point of this is to be able to super serve you, to be able to super serve the Louisiana sports fan. So check it out, louisianasports.net, totally free. All the socials, please follow them as well. We appreciate y'all so much for the early support. We had 1,000 Twitter followers in less than 24 hours. Before the show, I checked. I think we were approaching 1,200 Twitter followers. That was in less than 24 hours. So thank you, and it's just the beginning. We'd love more feedback, and we're looking forward to all this. So, and if you're a business owner and you're interested in a partnership, a sponsorship in any way, we got options. So holla at your boy. All right, it's After Further Review. Quick break. Stay here.
AFR.
Brought to you by Darren James and Associates, brokered by LPT Realty. Buying or selling commercial or residential. Y'all, the real estate market starting to pop. Interest rates tick down again. And I was talking to Darren last week, and it's insane. Inventory's coming onto the market now. People are looking to buy now. So if it's time to get active right now, you need to call Darren James. How about this? Coming up this weekend, it'll be Sunday, an open house at this home on Christina Avenue in Prairieville. Beautiful home. 5-bedroom, 4-bath, 3,200 square feet. If you want to learn more, you can check out agent225.com. That's agent225.com or any of Darren's social medias. Darren always says, late to bed, early to rise, work like heck, and advertise. And nobody's going to advertise your property better than Darren James. Agent225.com.
Think real estate, think Darren James.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows, windows, doors, siding. Oh yeah, they also do interior shutters.
ESPN.com put out their NFL power rankings. I won't bury the lead. I don't think anybody's going to be tremendously surprised by this, but ESPN's power rankings has the New Orleans Saints 25th in the NFL. Just sometimes, like, whatever that means, it means, but just sometimes by comparison of who you're around would make sense. So the Tennessee Titans are ranked 24th. The Saints are 25th. Whoops. And then, I don't know why that's happening. Paul, you need to pull it down. Sorry. My screen just went a little haywire. And then the Giants are 26th. Every time I try to expand my screen, or scroll, it expands. Anyway, the Giants are 26th. So essentially saying the Saints are smack dab between whatever Daniel Jones and the Giants are and the Titans with whoever might be playing quarterback for them and right. I asked Jimmy today, and Jimmy will be here in a bit for Otter Locks. I asked him the last time New Orleans went into a season with this low of expectations and this low of a win total, right? So Vegas has the Saints over under 7.5. Not that that's the be-all, end-all, but, I put a lot of credence in what the odds makers say because they are objective. I mean, their only objective is to make money. So they're not influenced by fandom or love or passion. They just want to be right and make money. But Jimmy told me that the last time the Saints went into a season with expectations this low was 2006, where their projected win total was 6 that season. And, of course, that was following a 3-13 season, the vagabond year post-Katrina, as we all remember. And while that team's projected win total was 6, and they got to 10, they went 10-6 and won the division and actually were the 2 seed and beat the Eagles in the divisional round, went to the NFC Championship game, as we all remember. The big difference is you had a future Hall of Fame quarterback and a future Hall of Fame head coach, and you have neither of those things now. And coach, quarterback are the two most important things in football, and you have neither of them, in my opinion. So I don't know that there's any reason to believe that they super exceed that expectation. But, I mean, this is the lowest expectation. So if this feels unfamiliar, it should. If this feels uncomfortable, it should. Because the Saints haven't been thought of this in this low a light literally since Sean Payton's first season. Not sure I'm anticipating them surprising anybody or surpassing that expectation. But the point that I have and will continue to make is it's so odd. My whole life as a kid, growing up, the Saints were awful. Many of you can appreciate this, right? A lot of you who are my age or older, those of you older can appreciate even more. Like the one-win team in 1980 and all of it, right? I at least got a little window of the Mora era with the Dome Patrol and Dalton and Bobby Hebert and Ironhead, and I mean some fun years. They always let you down in the playoffs, but I at least had that little window where they were good. But I never want to go back to what they were. You live for 20 years, so the first half of my life they were atrocious, and in the second half of my life they were awesome. And I'll tell you, the last 16 years, well, the last 2 haven't been good. Those are way better than the crappy years. I don't want to go back to the crappy. I don't think you do either. But it's why this is so unfamiliar, because it's been so long since we went into a season thinking this little of a New Orleans Saints team. Now, someone that obviously people think highly of is Taysom Hill. I loved seeing Taysom Hill dot the I in or just as at the tailback spot in the game against the 49ers. He had ripped off a beautiful 11-yard run. His acceleration's so good for a guy in his 8th NFL season, or who has played 8 NFL seasons. Kind of as a jack of all trades, a Swiss Army knife, all the things that people say, and he does everything so well. But what was interesting, I love him at tailback. And people are saying, well, because Kubiak is here and, Taysom even said, quote, I feel like the use of the fullback in the system, that role has been expanded. I've done more of that. Yes, he has played more fullback. But if you're just looking at Taysom as like the Kyle Juszczyk, in the day they hired Kubiak, we talked about this here on the show, and I think we've seen this actually validated a little bit. Yes, the Niners used Kyle Juszczyk. And maybe it's because they're a great team, or he's got a fun name to say, or whatever, that he's got a famous wife, that maybe he's a little more memorable. But the perception of how the Niners use Kyle Juszczyk and the reality are not congruent. What if I told you last year Kyle Juszczyk in 17 games, Kyle Juszczyk had 5 rushing attempts. In 17 games. He didn't carry the football. And he caught 14 passes. He averaged less than a touch a game. I'm sorry. a little more than a touch per game. He had 19 touches on the season in 17 games, Kyle Juszczyk. Taysom had 81 rushing attempts and 33 receptions. So they're not the same in any way. You will see Taysom line up in that role as a fullback, and that's exciting because it gives you a little more variety and versatility. But to say that Taysom Hill is Kyle Juszczyk, or that Kubiak will use Hill like he used Kyle Juszczyk, that would be a gross disservice to Taysom Hill because he could do so much more than just that. All right, it's After Further Review. We're brought to you by Shaw Bills, Shaw Bills Tire and Auto Service, ShawBillsTire.com, with locations all over South Louisiana. Of course, they started in Morgan City, worked their way up to Baton Rouge, moved west now into West Baton Rouge, the whole Lafayette area. Listen, if you need to buy tires, you want to buy the best tires on the road at the cheapest price possible, that's Shaw Bills. They guarantee it. It's part of the Charlie's Dozen. Buy tires at Shaw Bills. Find them advertised cheaper somewhere else. They'll refund you 125% of the difference. They're just not going to be beat on price. They get creative to find you the best deal possible at Shaw Bills. So buy the best tires at the cheapest price, and they treat you like family. Why would you even bother going anywhere else? It's Shaw Bills. ShawBillsTire.com, ShawBillsTire.com, Shaw Bills, where we keep you rolling. All right. Final break of the show. We'll come back. Jimmy will be here for Otter Locks. We'll find out what we're betting on tonight. See if he's got anything creative. Here's a move into the final week of the preseason as well. Any futures bets we'll look at. So get your wagering apps ready. Otter Locks is next. It's AFR.
AFR.
Okay, y'all, the clock is ticking. What if I told you that just for using a creative app, you can even use AI if you want, that you can win up to $2,000 in prizes, and maybe a little fame and notoriety as well. It's the Get Gordon Design My Next Billboard contest. Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys right now, super easy. All you got to do is go to getgordon.com/billboards, getgordon.com/billboards to get all the deets. The deadline is September the 8th, so you got less than a month to get creative. Design Gordon's next billboard, and you could win up to $2,000 in prizes and see your design on one of Gordon's billboards. It's the Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys Billboard Design Contest. So go to getgordon.com/billboards, getgordon.com/billboards, get Gordon, and get it done. Elevate brand visibility, ignite customer engagement with the power of radio and digital advertising combined. Guarantee Digital Media brings the two together as a trusted media partner in Louisiana for nearly a century. Claim your free digital audit at guaranteemedia.com.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
It's an everyday thing here. We work horses in the mornings and we work on the property during the day, and without these John Deere tractors, you know, it'd almost be impossible to keep up with the place. I've dealt with some of the other colors and stuff, and I never really got the response back that I get from John Deere, you know. We really enjoy dealing with Sunshine. They're good people. They always check on us and make sure our equipment's running, and we love them. Flip the switch and learn more about what it means to be powered by Sunshine at sunequip.com.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood Subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further. like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows, windows, doors, siding. Oh yeah, they also do interior shutters.
Down the stretch we come. Final segment here on a Monday edition of AFR. We always appreciate our friends over at Relief Windows. They're just the best if you need windows, doors, siding, or indoor shutters. Great time of year as well. Those energy bills go up. Get rid of those costly air leaks. Energy efficient replacement windows from Relief Windows. ReliefWindows.com. All right, one thing left to do. Find out what we're betting on tonight. Time for Otter Locks.
Otter Locks, presented by Lofton Staffing Services. At Lofton, we put people to work. Call us today at 924-0200 or go to lofton.jobs.
So we turn to the one and only, the incomparable and often incomprehensible, the Ott Father himself, Jimmy Ott. Otter, how are you?
I'm doing fantastic. How about you, Matthew?
I'm doing really well, man. Looking forward to the start of football as we inch closer. We got week 0 coming up this weekend, man.
Yep.
You got any thoughts early on those?
Yeah. Low steam early on the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. A lot. Norvell knows how to work the transfer portal. We know that. How many of the guys that start against LSU in Orlando, 17, 18 of the 22 starters were through the transfer portal. Well, he's got to go through it again, but that doesn't mean he'll have the success rate that he did in the past. But I'll tell you one thing that Florida State has done. They have, incorporated a couple of buys, like after the 3rd week and after the 5th or 6th week, to avoid what happened to Notre Dame last year. Notre Dame came straight back, played 6 straight games, including 3 in a row against Ohio State, at Duke, at Louisville. Well, it took its toll on them last year when they got smoked by Louisville, never in the game, and routed in that game. So it should have lost to Duke in Durham. So that trip to Dublin. So, it's a little taxing. So
yeah.
And how about the Florida State Seminoles on 2 standalone games? Week 0, that's the high-profile game. And then Labor Day night, a little bit of a downgrade in the quality of matchup. We've had Miami, Florida State, Florida State and Boston College. Good game last year in Chestnut Hill. Probably won't be this year. In
ACC matchup. Let's go.
Hey, nothing says we want to get out the ACC.
Oh, man.
Where can we sign a check? I was over at the Queen doing the show today.
Cool.
And I picked up the sheet. And, Kansas City Royals, took care of the sweep this past weekend. They're at home. Seth Lugo, their best pitcher over the season this year. And I looked at the Angels. The Angels have been competitive lately. It was plus 170 earlier today. It's plus $2.
Yeah.
That's called a line inflation. It's going to take a swing with the Angels right here against the Royals. So we're going to take the Angels plus $2 right now at DraftKings.
All right. Angels plus 200 right now. What else are we looking at?
All right, Tampa Bay Rays, they were struggling a little bit. Arizona and San Diego, the 2 hottest teams in all of Major League Baseball until this past weekend. Tampa Bay wins Friday, wins Saturday, wins Sunday. And if you look at the rest of their schedule as they try to make a run at a postseason, probably won't get there. And they were a seller. But this is the one exhale spot in the schedule at Oakland. I'm going to take these Rays all of a sudden that are hot, minus a soft number. Against the A's in the money line.
All right, I'm looking at $1.22 for Tampa. So Tampa on the money line,
and a team that is free falling in the National League West. A lot of people follow the Astros around here. That's the local team to us. But and look at the standings. I mean, once upon a time, the Seattle Mariners had a 10-game lead in the American League West. They're now 4 back already, a 14-game swing. the free fall continues against the Dodgers tonight. I would split it up, Matt. I'm going to lay the money line, but also a rare spot where you take lay the run line at home. So split it up, the Dodgers run line and money line.
You're not parlaying them, right? You're just making two separate bets.
I don't think they'll let you do it because it's correlated, obviously.
Okay, good to know.
Yeah.
I don't know that I've done that before, but okay. All right, so we'll split our bet there on the Dodgers, money line and run line. So we've got the Angels. Jimmy likes L.A. tonight. The Angels taking a shot there at plus $2. The Rays minus 120 on the money line, and then Dodgers split your bet, money line, run line tonight. Where are you tomorrow, Otter?
Tomorrow, we are at Musso's favorite dining spot, Mike Anderson Seafood, for oyster night. I love when he sends me the screenshots of the menu. My man, my buddy Shane, man, we're getting ready. Hey, move-in day this past weekend for the incoming class at LSU, and man, they were busy, and we're going to be busy tomorrow for Oyster Day. Half off raw oysters every Tuesday, 5 to 9 p.m. at Mike Anderson.
All right, Otter, we appreciate it. Have a great night.
All right, good luck.
All right, man, that'll do it for us here on this Monday edition of AFR presented by Relief Windows. We appreciate y'all for hanging out with us. Remember, if you miss anything, AFR On Demand presented by Breck Golf. And get all of your written word news for free at LouisianaSports.net. Check it out, bookmark at LouisianaSports.net. Alondra Pauly, thanks. Y'all have a great night. We'll see you tomorrow at 3.
AFR.
As we get on down the road, remind you about Michelli Weighing and Measurement, Michelli.com, Michelli.com with more than 30 locations across a dozen different states. If you weigh or measure something, they sell, service, rent the products used to weigh and measure. I'll be at the airport coming up a week from Thursday, flying to Las Vegas. And because Erica's coming with me to Vegas, she's going to have 16 bags, so we're going to check them all and pay for them all to check. And we'll put them on the scale. And right next to that scale, you see the blue and green sticker from Michelli, because those scales right there at the airport, provided by and calibrated by Michelli. You know, so many times you'll see it, all the different weighing systems, the products, services. You can check it all out at the website at Michelli.com. They have ISO 17025 accreditation available if you need that type of calibration. If you don't know what it is, you don't need it. If you know what it is, you understand why it's very important. And Michelli offers it. It's Michelli Weighing and Measurement. More than 75 years in business, still locally owned and operated. Check them out at Michelli.com.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has back-to-school savings like $16,000 off 25 Ram 1500 trucks. We're open for business in our beautiful new showroom and taking $16,000 off. All new Bayou vehicles come with a complimentary extended warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
At Relief Windows, we're more than windows. We're windows, doors, hardy plank, and vinyl siding. But our number one product is always customer satisfaction. Visit us online at reliefwindows.com.